Colorado High School Activities Association football is on Morgan County's B106 on the TuneIn app and B106.com tonight from Legion Field in Fort Morgan. It's for the North Valley League title as the visiting Erie Tigers take on the Fort Morgan Mustangs along with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde. I'm John Beltran with the Mustangs, and Tigers both 4-0 in North Valley League play. The Mustangs 15th in the RPI and unranked are 8-1 overall. Erie is sitting at 4-0 in league play and 9-0 on the season. Momentarily, we'll get to Brian Nickel's nickel package, but first, we're going to send it downstairs for tonight's national anthem live from Legion Field. Just awaiting the music. All right, before I get to the nickel package, we're going to see a big-time running back tonight. Over 5,700 yards, Kevin, for the Erie Tigers. One of the best running backs in the state and certainly the best in 3A.
And definitely the best in one that we're going to see. Yeah, Noah Roper is the real deal. And Fort Morgan's going to have to stay home, play assignment football. They can't have any one person try and do it all. They all have to play their responsibilities. Because if we overcommit to Roper, they're going to hand it off to someone else or toss it over the top to the tight end. So it's a hard package to plan for. Josh Lankward's a great defensive coordinator. He probably has a plan if the kids can execute.
And that transitions us into the nickel package, the 5 keys to win this game or at the very least stay competitive, Brian, here on Fort Morgan's home field.
Yeah, the first one is they got to contain Noah Roper. He's the eye of the tiger, you might say, for the Erie Tigers tonight. He's the over 1,600 yards this year, 29 touchdowns. So they've got to contain him if they want any chance. They can't have any turnovers tonight. They've got to play clean football and hopefully maybe get a turnover. So I don't think it would probably be an interception. They don't throw the ball that much. Maybe they'll be able to pick up a fumble along the way. They got to keep the penalties low, no personal fouls. Last year against Longmont, they had 13 penalties in that game, and you're not going to get away with that here, or even half of that. They got to take advantage of their possessions. Every time you get the ball, you've got to at least take some time off the clock. Don't give it right back to them. A lot of 3-and-outs. You've got to take advantage of it when you have the ball, and don't give it back to them and Noah Roper. And special teams tonight has to be special. They've got to hit on all cylinders with that special teams, kickoff, return, kickoffs, punts, and also punt returns also. And hopefully they can break something on a return and get a touchdown that way to help out the offense.
Well, that's where the Mustangs have a dual threat in J.P. Hamer. 3 of his 12 touchdowns are kickoff returns. So if he can pull that off tonight, that would certainly help Fort Morgan's cause. But Roper's not only a guy who has over 1,600 yards this year for Erie and 29 touchdowns. 11 of those 29 touchdowns and over 600 of those yards came against their 3 toughest opponents, Meade, Frederick, and Pueblo South. So he's not done it against the cupcakes on the schedule. He's done it against the prime opponents. And Fort Morgan has got to figure out a way, as Kevin and Brian mentioned, to stop him, because even looking at Fort Morgan's defense, the top 3 running backs they face this season, Nickwell and a brush, Davion Hunter of Thomas Jefferson, and then Devin Sanchez of Roosevelt all went for over 100 yards. So that's a big concern for Fort Morgan. And without forcing any turnovers in this game, I don't see how Fort Morgan can win. They've got to force, I think, a minimum of 2 turnovers just to get Erie out of rhythm. Erie dressed in their road whites and the burnt orange helmets. And they are coached by Chad Cooper. The Mustangs in their home blacks with the white numerals, coached by Ty Davies. Assisted by Josh Langford, Greg Edson, Jim Kreckemeyer, Ian Moreno, Andy Schoen, TJ Schneider, Seth Wolf, Chris Cobley, Jeff Peterson, Eric Sherman, Kyle Growlis, Drew Davies, and Gary Davies, who's going to be, you would think Gary Davies, gentlemen, a key component tonight with all his experience. He's coached in a lot of big games, Kevin, and he could bring something to the table that maybe Erie either doesn't expect or can't respond to the way they should.
Either that or just have that presence and reassure the kids that they're going to be okay. You know, you talked about the 2 turnovers. I don't know if we necessarily need 2, but you know, if Roper ends up with 200 yards on 40 carries, I'd be happy with that.
Well, that'd be well below his average. He's averaging 11 yards a carry.
Yeah.
J.P. Hamer averaging 9 yards a carry. So that would be somewhat of a victory. But when he had those big nights, especially the one against Meade, Meade is the highest ranker. I think Frederick and Meade are 7 and 8 respectively, right there in the rankings. You got that there?
Well, as far as the RPI.
Yeah, well, the RPI, yeah, Frederick is 3rd and Meade is, well, I think Erie's now 6th. Yeah, Meade is 10th and Frederick is 13th against Meade, the highest ranked, highest RPI team that they played. He went for 29 carries, 291 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Jeez.
So, yeah, I mean, it's lethal. Opening kickoff is brought to you by Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. Things happen in life. Make sure you're prepared with the right insurance coverage. Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance in Brush in Fort Morgan. And the Mustangs will kick it off here. Adam Cardona to kick it off. And if you don't win the special teams battle, you can forget about it because this has been Fort Morgan's strength throughout the course of the season. I don't think Roper returns kickoffs.
He's back there, though.
Yeah, I know. That looks like him. Standing at his own 4-yard line. Yeah, that is Roper. At his own 4. And Cardona is going to line drive this, fielded by one of the upmen at the 24-yard line, ahead to the 35 and down at the 38. That's Ian Vera, a junior. And Erie has the football at their own 38-39-yard line to begin this football game. Where these teams are combined 17-1. And the winner of this game claims the North Valley League title at the 38-yard line. The quarterback is Gavin Mendoza. He's the other key component. Brian, they throw it less than 4 times a game, but Mendoza still put up some decent numbers with those 9 touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. He's 18 to 26 for 415 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
4 yards behind center. There's the handoff to Roper right up the middle. A big hole across the 40 to the 45. Isaac Linker makes the tackle. Might have gotten to the 46. We'll call it a gain of about 8 for Noah Roper. Those are quick hitters. He doesn't waste any time. He slams right into the hole. And it's second down. Well, it's about a long 2 and a short 3 for Noah Roper. Give him 7 officially here. Just past the 45. And here is the handoff to Roper, swinging it to the outside, back towards the middle. Short gain. Nick Norris there to make the play after a gain of 1. Just past the 46-yard line. 3rd down and 2. Mendoza, 5'10", 165-pound quarterback. Not a big guy. Roper at 6 feet, 195. 3rd and 2 for the 46. And it seems they only take about, 15 to 20 seconds in between plays. At least that's what they've done the first 2 plays. On 3rd down and 2. Naked backfield, 4 yards behind center. Roper takes it himself. He's got a first down. He lined up as the quarterback there. Right behind his right tackle to the 49-yard line. It's a gain of 4 for Noah Roper and a first down. So not only does he line up conventionally as a running back, but he can come out of the shotgun/pistol formation.
Right.
1st and 10 at the 49. Caden Edson into the game for Fort Morgan along with Connor Fajardo. And coming out of the game here momentarily is Devin Gherkin in Fort Morgan territory at the 49-yard line. One back, that's Roper. Has the football running to his right, and he's going to be slammed right at the line of scrimmage, but breaks 2 tackles across the 45 to the 41. Fort Morgan tackle too high.
They're calling
Linker
down
make the tackle. Yep, they're going to call him down at the 50. So it's a loss of 1, but he kept going for 8 more yards or 9 more yards to the 41, but apparently the right knee was down. Well, that's a big call down there because I wasn't sure if he was actually down.
Right, they may have just called,
Forward progress.
progress and not wanting someone to get hurt in a big pile.
2nd down and 11 at midfield for Erie. Opening drive of the game with 9:47 to go. Man in motion to the left. And there is the give. Nope, that's Mendoza off the right side. It's a tremendous fake across the 45 to the 43. Picks up 7 on the play before the tackle is made. But now it sets up a manageable 3rd down and about 4 yards to go. And quickly, Erie up to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 4. Again, Mendoza from the pistol formation. Boy, Roper's about 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. He'll get the football, running to his left, cutting it back towards the middle. He's going to be slightly short of the 1st down. He gets to the 40. Nick Norris made the initial hit along with James Hokenadel. 5 carries for Roper in the early going. And he's got 14 yards, 4th down and 1. This is an easy call, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the number 1 running back in your backfield.
And he's going to get the football directly from center. He's going to serve as the quarterback. Dylan Woods checking in for Fort Morgan. 4th and 1 from the Mustang 39-yard line. Roper awaits a snap. Roper has it, runs to his left. He's got a 1st down. He's right at the stick. They drive him back, but it looks like from here, even though the Fort Morgan bench is celebrating, I think he's got the 1st down just past the 38-yard line. I don't think that celebration is going to be one that Fort Morgan is going to find with too much favor, because I don't think they're going to bring out the sticks. It looks like a 1st down to me.
Yeah,
they are going to bring it out, but it looks like there's no way that's short.
All right, big happy birthdays we got to wish tonight to the El Jefe, the boss, Alec Creighton, celebrating a birthday.
Cool. Happy
birthday. And my great buddy, Jay Sharfstein, the Sharf, wonderful friend of 40 years, father, husband, musical talent, pretty good basketball player. He's in New York. Sharf and I rarely see each other. Happy birthday to Sharf tonight, and happy birthday tomorrow to my beautiful wife, Amy. 1st and 10 from the 38 for Erie. Play action. Mendoza looking to throw. He's a deep up the right side. Receiver is out there, and it's going to be broken up near the goal line. That's a beautiful breakup on an underthrown pass, and Donovan Moya made the play for Fort Morgan.
Yeah, Fort Morgan's lucky that it was underthrown, because number 7 was deep on Moya, and he's tall. Even if they're in the same spot, he's probably going to be able to go up and get that one.
Yeah, that's Caleb Furman, 6'3", 190, a senior. 2nd down and 10 to go, but you know they're not going to throw the football twice in a row, Brian.
No. You've got your stud right there behind Mendoza, and they're going to use him. 2
receivers to the left. Mendoza hands off to Roper, cutting it back towards the left side of the 36. Excellent penetration there by, let's see, there was Hokenadel made the tackle, but Alex Ortega was the one who forced him to cut inside. 3rd down and 8, and Roper's been contained so far.
Yep.
Although he's carried the ball 7 times, unofficially for 16 yards. Officially 7 times for the unofficial yardage. On 3rd down and 8 to go from the 35. Fort Morgan has yet to touch the football, and Erie is controlling the clock right now. They've taken up 4.5 minutes. The number 1 ranked team in the state in Class 3A. Roper's in motion to the left. Mendoza, naked backfield, awaits a snap. 3-step drop, looks towards Roper, heaves it up the left side. Roper's out there, it's incomplete. Thrown a little bit towards the inside. 2 Mustangs out there. Roper had about half a step. It'll be 4th down and 8 to go at the 36-yard line for the Erie Tigers. And they threw it twice in 3 plays, even though they're averaging, as you alluded to, Brian, 3.4 pass attempts a game.
So they're about done passing for the night. So,
well, hopefully they're not, because that means that Fort Morgan could be in the lead at that point.
Right.
On 4th down and 8 to go at the 36-yard line of Fort Morgan.
Erie's going to have to call a timeout because they couldn't come up with a play that they thought was going to work on 4th and 7 or 8.
Mobile banking on the go makes banking easier for you when you're on the go at Equitable Savings and Loan. Check it out today. That's Equitable Savings and Loan. And the magnitude of this game cannot be magnified too much, not to use the same word in one sentence or close to the same word, because after all, Fort Morgan is 15th in the RPI. You figured if they don't win this game, they still can qualify for the playoffs in the top 16. But as Kevin alluded to on Facebook Live, you win this game, you're the conference champion. And I'm not even sure then. I know the rules have been slanted a little bit. Even as the conference champion, if you automatically get a home game. I mean, that was the rule for a while.
I think you end up in the top 8, but you may not be.
Oh, you'd be at the lower
like
echelon
8.
of that 8. You'd be 7 or 8. 4th down and 8 to go for Erie at the Fort Morgan 36-yard line. Trips to the right. One receiver to the left. Mendoza looks to throw, steps up, hit as he throws, and it's going to be incomplete at the 11-yard line. Boy, tremendous pressure. I think Nick Norris was in there, and the Mustangs take over on downs at their own 36-yard line.
That's going to be a Mustang first down.
Be interesting stat to know how many times Erie's been stopped on their opening drive of the season.
Well,
can't be very many.
Maybe the surprise there was that they threw on first down.
Right.
Because even though Furman had the Mustang defender Moya beat by about a step, they threw on first down, and then you set up 2nd and long.
Right.
1st and 10 for the Mustangs at their own 36-yard line. It's almost like the ball got backtracked about half a yard, but here comes Isaac Linker, the Mustang quarterback, with 2 receivers out to the right and 2 to the left. The lone setback is J.P. Hamer, who's run for 1,266 yards in 2018. And they're right on top of these receivers. Blitz is coming. Linker throws off his back foot. Complete to Hamer at the 50-yard line. Down the middle of the field to the 30. Hamer to the 20. Hamer to the 10. Getting chased to the 3. Touchdown! 64 yards from Linker to the wide-open J.P. Hamer. His 2nd receiving touchdown of the season. And the Mustangs on their first play from scrimmage have taken a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, Hamer was wide open out there in the middle. He had a lot of pressure. It was almost like a screen without the guys in front of him. I mean, they let him through, and then he was just wide open.
But, gentlemen, that was based on one thing and one thing only, the play call. You call a different play, and he's not there. That was a tremendous play call. That is coaching right now. Now the extra point to be attempted. The snap is there, and the kick is up, and that kick by Cardona is good. We have 7:07 to go in the opening quarter. The Fort Morgan Mustangs are in the lead over the number 1 team in 3A, the Erie Tigers, 7-0 on B106 and B106.com. 64 yards on the pass from Isaac Linker to J.P. Hamer. And Fort Morgan, to the surprise of maybe some, lead Erie, the number 1 team in 3A, by a score of 7-0. Brian, you surprised?
I am surprised.
Kevin?
Yes.
Come on, be honest.
More so on the defensive side than on the offensive side. I think offensively that was a really good call, and Fort Morgan has done some great scouting. But
here's a little pooch towards the sideline, fielded at the 21, across the 25, and down at the 28-yard line is Isaac Kana, a senior at 5'11", 170, as the Mustangs there to make the play. Was that Frankie Ortega, or it might have been, let's see, Munoz. Yeah, Jahi Munoz. So 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line for Erie. And how many times have they been behind this season? This might be the first time.
Yeah, I would almost guess it probably is.
Yeah. But, they've been through it, and they're not a team that's going to just cave. We're going to have to continue to execute.
Yeah, I mean, Fort Morgan has played a great 2 or 3 quarters before in a game, but they've got to do it for 4. From the 27, and busted play. Mendoza will take the football right up the gut, and he's down at the 28-yard line, a gain of 1. Initial penetration by Jesus Villalobos, 2nd down and 9, and that doesn't look like a team that's ranked number 1 running a play that looked like they were all confused.
Yeah, not this time of year. Your 10th game of the season, you think that's the stuff that you would have down, unless it's things that they're putting in just this week that Fort Morgan might not have seen yet.
Right, and I think also, we just smacked them in the mouth. They're a little dazed, so it's going to take them a while to get back in the run of things.
Second down and 9 to go for the 28. From the pistol handoff, Roper right side, cuts it back towards the middle, across the 30 to the 35. It's a gain of about 7. Isaac Linker getting up off the bottom of the pile, the 8th carry for Roper.
Norris and Gherkin on the stop. Third down
And he's up to 24 yards. Third down and 2 to go for Erie. Mustangs looking to hand Erie their first loss since last year's state championship game.
I don't think Erie's going to come out and do. I don't think you're going to see him passing twice in a possession. Just from what we've seen here, they're not comfortable throwing the ball.
Well, they passed 3 times in the last possession. Didn't work from the 35 on 3rd and 2. Mendoza, check that. That's Roper. Takes it himself, first down across the right side. He took the direct snap again. And because he took that direct snap, he was able to find a seam across the right side. A gain of 6 to the 31. 41 make it. 1st and 10 for the Erie Tigers.
The best sign I see so far is that Roper's had to pretty much work hard for every yard he's gotten. He hasn't gotten any easy break wide open and just go plays.
5.5 to go in the opening quarter. Fort Morgan leads by a score of 7-0 on a 64-yard pass from Linker to Hamer. Out of the pistol formation, Mendoza will get the direct snap this time. And he wants to throw, looking, sets it deep over the middle, wide open. That's going to be caught at the 35, down the middle of the field to the 20, tackled from behind at about the 10-yard line. The wide open Jamison Nelms. And let's see, they'll mark it. Where's that at? Is that at the 10?
Yeah, about the 9.
9-yard line. It's a gain of 50.
That's what happens when you sell out to stop the run. You got single coverage, and if you don't respect their receivers, they're going to catch it over the top.
From the 9, handoff to Roper. He's going for the edge on the right side, gets around a Mustang defender, then is tackled inside the 5 towards about the 2, maybe the 1. And this is the Erie offense that football fans in Colorado have been accustomed to seeing. The football's at the 1-yard line, so it's a gain of 8. Second down and goal. That football just shy of the 1-yard line. The quarterback Roper will score as he took the direct snap, went behind his left tackle, and is into the end zone. Noah Roper scores his 30th rushing touchdown of the year, and Erie is to within 1 at 7-6 as the extra point will be attempted. And extra points are obviously even bigger tonight than any other game during the regular season.
Yeah, every point tonight's going to count. I mean, you've got to have your extra points.
Let's see. I believe their kicker is Costine. Waiting the snap. The kick is up. Boy, he's got a strong leg, and that is good. 4:38 to go. First quarter from Legion Field in Fort Morgan. The score, Fort Morgan 7, Erie 7 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. The Erie Tigers answer Fort Morgan's touchdown. And, Brian, they didn't travel 20 or 30. They traveled, about 73 yards on that drive.
Yeah, that was, they started that at their own 27-yard line, so.
No, Roper scores from 1 yard out, and we are deadlocked at 7.
Custody to tee it up. Hamer or take it back.
And Erie to kick it off. And that's Costine, a high, deep kickoff. And that lands about 8 or 9 yards into the end zone from Julian Costine. And Fort Morgan has the ball at their own 20-yard line. Well, time of possession doesn't matter because Fort Morgan scored on one play.
Right.
But against this team, I don't think you can rely on the big play. I think you have to have some sustained drives here. However, the play calling, that was incredible on that first play.
See what they come out with here.
Got to give your defense some time to rest.
2 receivers out to the right. Unfortunately, you have two-way players. And Erie has fewer two-way players, so Fort Morgan's got to pace themselves, but that's why the Mustangs are in good shape. Villalobos realigns himself to the left. Linker hands off to Hamer, running to his left, trying to get around the outside, and does to the 25-yard line, then is out of bounds. Let's see if he got past the 25, but J.P. Hamer with tremendous vision. And basically, you've got 2 ball carriers tonight for Fort Morgan, Hamer and Linker. And I don't know if Linker is going to be as successful with his running style as Hamer. The gain is 6. Second down and 4 to go from the 26-yard line. Hamer's first carry of the game, and it comes with just over 4 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Tied at 7, 64-yard pass from Linker to Hamer, followed by a 1-yard run by Noah Roper, who's on the defensive side. Linker hands it off to Hamer, running off left tackle. First down, he backs his way across the 30 to the 32. Another gain of 6 for J.P. Hamer. And those two plays basically are emblematic of Fort Morgan Mustang football.
Right.
Spotted at the 33.
Yeah, Hamer averages 8.9 yards a rush.
First down and 10. I'll give them 7 there, just shy of the 33-yard line. And the Mustangs, as they customarily do, they walk up to the line of scrimmage, and then the skill position players look over towards the sideline for play instructions. No receivers out to the right. Everybody bunched in tight. Handoff to Hamer, running to his right, across the 35, and then grabbed around the ankles, and then he's driven down at the 38-yard line. But Hamer explodes quickly enough that he doesn't have too much in terms of traffic once he gets the ball. Tyler Gardner, one of 3 Tigers in on the play. Second down and 5 to go for Fort Morgan.
Fort Morgan's offensive line, again, doing a really good job of just getting some movement backwards on the Erie defense.
Well, if Fort Morgan can either win this game or hang with Erie, whoever they take on in the first round of the playoffs is going to know that Fort Morgan is a big-time threat. Second and 5. Here's the handoff to Hamer, running left side, and he's driven at the 40-yard line, driven back, that is.
Hamer on the carry.
It's a gain of 2.
Donovan on the stop.
An aggressive play there by, looks like the junior. Check that. That is the junior, Ian Vera. Third down and 3 to go for the 40. The interesting thing is this 4-down territory of Fort Morgan maybe as a 4th and 1? They're still on their own side of the field. Not a 4th and 3. Trips to the right. Brian with a very conservative approach. We'll see what Kevin thinks after this play. On third down and 3, out of the pistol, Dylan Woods is in motion to the left, now realigns. Linker rolls out to the right. Pressure coming. Linker's going to have to throw it away. And it is nearly intercepted along the sideline by Caleb Furman. It'll be 4th down. And Fort Morgan will have to punt, and here comes Alex Ortega.
Yeah, on that play, Dylan Wood went downfield and kind of tried to set a pick, and Erie defender got through him and was able to defend that.
Jacob Ortega, late entry in on special teams. On 4th down and 3 from the 40, Noah Roper is back deep to receive. Ortega standing at his own 25-yard line. Perfect snap. Here comes the rush. He gets it off, but it's a short punt. Very short. Roper's going to let it bounce at the 42. Mustang's got to get on that. It takes a huge Erie roll down to the 49-yard line. 7 yards in favor of Erie. So they've got good field position. 2:17 to go in the opening quarter. Deadlocked at 7 in Fort Morgan. Kevin, your impression so far?
Well, I think if coach would have known that that punt was going to go about 8 yards, he would have just gone for it on 4th down. But you don't know those things. You've been punting great all season long. Why Frankie got one off there. I think, they've both gotten a stop on the other team now. And so we're back to the starting point, and let's see if Fort Morgan can hang with them.
Right, it's basically a 0-0 game right now. 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Just over 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Tied at 7. They're at their own 49-yard line. Gavin Mendoza from the pistol will hand it off to Roper. Stutter stepping right up the middle across the 50. Driven back at the 48-yard line of Fort Morgan. Nick Norris, the first man in on the hit, along with some others, including Caden Edson. 2nd down and 7 to go for the Tigers.
2nd down at 8.
Man, can you believe this, Brian? 12 carries in the first quarter. He's on pace for close to 50.
Yeah. He's their horse, that's for sure. They're going to ride him all the way to the.
He's kind of holding his hand like maybe.
Is that just a horse or a thoroughbred? Second,
maybe a Clydesdale.
From the 48, Roper running to his right. He's close to a 1st down as he cut it back towards the inside, maybe a little bit short at the 42, but he picks up 6 on the play. 3rd down and 1. Isaac Linker And Nick Norris, again, they're their main tacklers out there with Alex Ortega. They make the hit 3rd down and 1 at the 42-yard line. For Erie in Fort Morgan territory for the second straight drive. Actually, make it the 3rd straight, I believe. On 3rd down and 1, Roper will take the direct snap, and he'll hand it off on the right side, 1st down, and that is Ian Vera for a gain of 3 to the 39-yard line. We've already seen 3 ball carriers, including the quarterback, for Erie. And again, right up to the line of scrimmage at the Fort Morgan 39. Last year, the only time Fort Morgan played the number 1 team in the state was Meade. And they fell behind 14-0 at halftime, 28-7 at the break, and they were done. There's Roper again. He's got a hole right up the middle, down at the 35.
Roper on the carry.
Gain of 4. Fort Morgan playing some physical football. And I believe that's Alex Ortega who made the initial contact. 2nd down and 6 to go.
And this is quick hitters. I mean, he gets that ball and he's right up in there.
14 carries for 52 yards. You'll take that. A little bit over 3 yards a carry. Well, closer to 4, but still, it's not 4 or 5. From the 35, approaching the waning moments of the opening quarter. Bobbled by Mendoza, and then he's going to be driven down. That's probably going to go as a sack by James Hokenedel, throwing him down at the 40-yard line. It's a loss of 5. Excellent play by Hokenedel. That was a wrestling move by the senior wrestler.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, nice job there. He didn't watch the ball into his hands on that snap.
That's the end of the opening quarter with a score. Fort Morgan 7, Erie 7 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. We begin the second quarter, and Noah Roper has the football on a 3rd and 11 and drives to the 34-yard line, a gain of 6. But it'll be 4th down and 5. Roper had 14 carries for 52 yards in the opening quarter. And again, Fort Morgan's got to come up with a play now. On the defensive side, deadlocked at 7, a 64-yard touchdown catch by J.P. Hamer, and Noah Roper of Erie with a 1-yard run. 4th and 5 from the 34 of Fort Morgan. Gavin Mendoza from the pistol formation. And is Erie going to call a second timeout? They do. And you rarely see that from a team that is that dominant. And I'm not saying they're unsure, but I think they want to make sure that everything is in place for this critical play here early in the second quarter.
Shows that they have respect for Fort Morgan's defense, and Fort Morgan's earned that so far in the first quarter by holding them to just 7 points and some hard-earned yards.
Colorado Plains Medical Center has experienced physicians and a highly trained surgical team trained in the latest surgical procedures. Explore what procedures are possible in your hometown at Colorado Plains Medical Center. I'm John Beltran with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde for the regular season finale. The most anticipated game of the 2018 season, and so far so good in terms of the level of competition, tied at 7. Erie has a 4th down and 5 yards to go at the Fort Morgan 34-yard line. 2 receivers out to the left. The lone setback is Noah Roper. Man in motion to the right. Play action. The throw out to the left is caught underneath, and nothing. It's a loss of 1. I'm not sure if that's Furman, but what a great play made on the far side over there by Connor Fajardo. It was Caleb Furman. A loss of 1, and Fort Morgan takes over at their own 35-yard line.
That play has me completely baffled. They must have thought that he was going to be able to juke that one defender, but boy, to throw a naked screen or naked flat pass like that with no one blocking for him, unless the guy who was supposed to get out there and block got hung up somehow.
Brian, I'm 100% with Kevin on that one.
Yep.
Okay, so we make it 3 out of 3. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line, and an Erie defender came across. Joshua Bradford looked like he was coming in a blitz. And it'll be 1st and 5 for Fort Morgan. Obviously, you've got not a capacity crowd, but a large crowd here for this game, one of the top in the state. On a Friday night with the playoffs beginning in 5A, 2A, Class A, 8-man and 6-man. Out of the pistol, handoff, Hamer running wide to the left, cuts it back to the inside, and he's across the 40 to the 44. before he's tackled over there by Nathan Hackney, their leading tackler, 6 foot 240. Just shy the 45-yard line, so we'll say second down and a yard to go. Less than a yard to go for Fort Morgan. And you can tell the Erie coaches there wanted a holding penalty.
I'm kind of the belief you could call holding on every single play.
Yeah.
Well, the truth of the matter is, I don't think it's the fact of holding, it's how long you do it. If you hold and let go quickly, they won't call it. And here's Linker with a keeper, left side to the 50. Linker along the left sideline with Roper to beat at the 35. Roper grabs him. Then he's also tackled from behind at the 28-yard line. Well, that's a big gainer of 28 yards and a first down for Isaac Linker. And again, play call.
Right. Well, they're obviously keen on Hamer and that run, and you should as you play the Mustangs, but you also have Linker as a runner and Linker as a thrower.
Official line of scrimmage at the 27, so a pickup of 29. First and 10 for the Mustangs, tied at 7. Out of the shotgun with 10:15 to go. And then we had movement again against Erie.
Yeah, like Kevin said, they're the ones with the jitterbugs tonight, not Fort Morgan.
They're somewhat in unfamiliar territory, being, still tied at this point. They're probably used to, wondering when this running clock was going to start.
Well, I don't think they were hoping for that this early or at any time. First and 5 for the 22. Linker back to throw. Deep up the middle. The pass is going to be off the helmet, and is it nearly intercepted? I don't know. There's a flag down, and if it was picked off, it was out of the end zone, but there's a flag down. Ortega might have been interfered with.
Yep.
I think Ortega was interfered with, and that would set up a first down and 10 from the 14-yard line, half the distance.
Right.
Well, let's see what the call is. Or from the 11.5, it was at the 23. But it is interference that was face guarding, and it went off the back of the helmet of the Erie defender, so that should be at the 11.5-yard line. So it'll be first and 10, and sometimes it's better to have a first and 10 instead of a first and goal near that 10-yard line. It gives you that extra territory to work with. That's at the 11. First and 10, lining up on the left side of the field. The Mustangs looking to reclaim the lead. They scored the first touchdown of the game. Linker from the pistol. Looking back towards the sideline. Mustangs want to make sure that they run the play that they want and exactly the way they want. Awaiting the snap is Linker. Play clock at 4. Linker, quick drop. Heaves it up the right side. Ortega's out there. And did he catch it incomplete? It was a fade pattern towards the right side of the end zone, and it might have been slightly underthrown. Furman was on the coverage for Erie.
That was another one that could have gone past interference because the defender never looked back, just ran right into him. But I think he didn't hold his ground that time or come back for it enough.
Well, the Mustangs rarely throw twice in a row. You could expect the run here to Hamer. On 2nd and 10, running Hamer to the left. Hamer at the 10-yard line, slips out of a tackle, but doesn't have much more. Along the left sideline. And it's a gain of 3 for J.P. Hamer. Third down. And 7 to go for Fort Morgan. Another critical play. With that football resting just shy of the 8-yard line. 3rd down and 7. 2 receivers out to the right. Ortega is the inside receiver on this formation. Hamer remains the lone setback. Fajardo to the outside. On 3rd and 7 from the 8. Linker rolls out to his right, still rolling, pressure backside. Linker stops, now takes off. Now he's running along the sideline inside the 5, and he is in! A touchdown! Linker somehow found his way into the end zone, and the Mustangs lead 13-7. Linker from 8 yards out as number 8 scores a TD.
Very nice, Isaac, very nice.
Yeah, he got that corner over there. I thought they were going to catch up to him, but he had enough of it and got into the end zone.
Are you surprised, Brian? I was surprised. I said there's no way. He doesn't have much of a lane.
Right.
Cardona to attempt the extra point. Off the hold of Linker. There's the snap. The kick is up. And that is good. 9 minutes and 2 seconds to go in the second quarter. With the score, Fort Morgan 14, Erie 7. This is Mustang football on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. Defense turns into offense, and the Mustangs now 14-7 lead after the 8-yard run by Isaac Linker.
Absolutely, yeah, that defense stopped them. And still, one of the baffling questions is why did they throw that naked screen or whatever you want to call it, that pass out to the wide receiver completely alone.
On 4th and 5.
Yeah. Fort Morgan's defender, can't remember who that was, did a great job coming up and didn't try to hit him hard, just wrapped up and made the tackle.
Yeah, that was Connor Fajardo who made that play. And now Adam Cardona with a short kick, and it'll be fielded at the 26-yard line and to about the 36, and there's a late flag on the tackle there. And the return man for Erie was Isaac Kana. Let's see what that flag's all about. Fort Morgan has played some clean football so far.
No, not that time.
Face mask.
Yep, and that's going to set them up into Fort Morgan territory at the 49-yard line. I mean, here's the deal. Regardless if it wins this game, but let's say Fort Morgan doesn't win it only because they're the ones most affected by the playoff positioning, since Erie is in the upper echelon and they're guaranteed a playoff spot. With the way Fort Morgan's playing, they're easily a playoff team.
Oh, yeah.
Easily, regardless of the outcome. 1st and 10 at the 49. 2 receivers out to the right. Mendoza has thrown 4 times, make it 5. And he's 2 out of 5 for 49 yards. And this time, taking it to the right side across the 45 to the 41. And that's not even Mendoza.
That Dion Lucero.
Yep. And that's a gain of close to 8 for Lucero. Well, you never know what threats they have.
I think Lucero's thrown the ball, so I think he's come in and played some quarterback for him.
2nd down and 2 yards to go for Erie. Under 9 minutes to go, second quarter. Fort Morgan 14, Erie 7. And Roper collides with a quarterback, but he's got a first down at the 30 along the left sideline to the 20. He is gone at the 5, touchdown. Moya tried to chase him down, but to no avail. It's a 41-yard touchdown run for Noah Roper, his 31st rushing touchdown of the season. And just like that, Erie draws to within a point. Fort Morgan 14, Erie 13.
And he ran into the quarterback. Maybe it was just that little bit of delay, got the timing on the defense off. But, wow, he didn't get touched, I don't think, most of the way.
Well, he's now at 99 yards on 16 carries. The shootout to me so far that's not a surprise, because both of these teams are capable with all their big playability. Now Costine to attempt the extra point. Off the hold of Furman. There's the snap. The kick is up, and that one is good. 8 minutes, 18 seconds to go, second quarter. Fort Morgan 14, Erie 14 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. Along with the Hall of Famers Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde, I'm simply John Beltran. We're tied at 14, 8:18 to go, second quarter. Well, you guys have been here longer than I have. By the way, the 3 birthdays that I mentioned tonight, 2 tonight, my wife tomorrow. I don't know why Brian wanted me to mention this, but all 3 are younger than Brian. But anyway, that's besides the point. It's all about football tonight, deadlocked at 14. Noah Roper just scored from 41 yards out, his second touchdown of the game. Kevin recommending that I keep my day job. Thank you, Kevin. I'm just getting that feeling at this point. All right, here's a high kick towards the goal line. J.P. Hamer has it at the 1, running to his left to the 10-yard line, looking for a block from Ortega. He cannot get it, but he gets around the defender and is down at the 23, and Ortega tried to make the block, but the man in pursuit was so quick. But, you know, you get it beyond the 20, it's a successful return for Fort Morgan.
Yeah, it's about a 23-yard return, so.
That's quite a weapon, that kick. It's so high and comes down right on the 1 or 2 yard line that it kind of disrupts everything.
And when you're looking at a 14-14 game, now you really like the fact with about 8 minutes to go in the second quarter that Fort Morgan receives a second half kickoff.
Absolutely.
1st and 10 for the Mustangs at their own 23-yard line. Receiver split each side. Isaac Linker with a hand clap. Awaiting the snap. Has the football. Hands off to Hamer. Swinging it wide. Back to the middle to the 25. And then he lunges to the 27. I think there's a flag. There might be a hold on the right side against Fort Morgan. That flag came in towards the end of the play, too. And it's going to nullify close to a 5-yard game, but it is against Fort Morgan.
Yep.
And I assume it's simply a hold.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we have no preliminary indication as of yet. What? He called an interference. Does he know what he's doing?
Illegal block on the Mustangs.
Illegal block in the
Yeah,
back.
but that
on a
should
run.
be. Yeah, but that's not the way you signify a block in the back. You got to be better than that for such a big game.
Unless it was
Did
a
he not signal?
crackback.
Is that me or did he signal interference?
It looked like pass interference is what he
Yeah.
called, but yeah.
Yeah, 1st and 20 for the Mustangs at their own 13-yard line. Now play calling will be even more essential here because of the 1st and 20, which Fort Morgan has not faced in this game. Alex Ortega has punted just once. A big play is what the Mustangs need just to make it 2nd or 3rd and manageable. Linker back to throw, looking deep over the middle, and that's incomplete. Boy, Fajardo was well defended. And it's a good thing that Linker airmailed that. He might have done that by design because he had nowhere to throw right there.
Yeah, there was nobody open. He just hit the open spot out in the field out there to get rid of it so he wouldn't get sacked.
And Linker's 0 out of 3 passing. Check that, 1 out of 4, I should say. Got the 64-yarder to Hamer. Can't forget about that one. But the other 3 passes have all fallen incomplete. On 2nd down and 10 for the 13. Linker from the pistol looking over towards the sideline. The Mustangs looking to get out of a hole in a 14-14 second quarter game in Fort Morgan. Linker's going to take it himself across the 15, tries to break out of a tackle and does, and then backs his way towards the 19-yard line, but they might only give him the 18. There's one official spotting it at the 18, the other at the 19. It'll be at the 19, a gain of 6. 3rd down and 14 to go for Fort Morgan.
A little bit of room there, but not much. But he had both hands on that ball. When you could see when he was being tackled, they were trying to grab that ball out of there, and he had that baby wrapped up.
Under 7 minutes to go, second quarter. 3rd down and 14 to go for the 19-yard line. See, this is where you don't want to lose that battle of field position. What can Fort Morgan pull off right now? At their own 19, Linker. Blitz is coming, throws on the run underneath, it's incomplete. Dropped by Ortega, but that's a good thing he dropped it. That would have been a huge loss of the play. It is 4th and 14, and Linker faced all types of pressure, rolling back in and out to his right, and Fort Morgan will punt.
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to set up a screen or if they're just not picking up the blitz and linebackers or defensive backs coming in.
I think they were actually trying to set up that middle wide receiver screen, but Erie read it perfectly.
Yeah.
They had Hamer out to the left side in the flat covered by a big old linebacker, and that would have been, if he could have seen him, but that would have been a hard throw, throwing back across the field.
Low snap, here comes the pressure, gets it off. That's a beautiful fluttering punt, and Roper has it off his hands at the 45-yard line. Ball is still loose, and the Mustangs, do they have it? I think Fort Morgan might have fallen on it initially. No, Erie did, and that's a mistake by Fort Morgan. Somebody tried to pick up the ball instead of just land on it.
And you can't advance a muff
exactly.
punt.
You cannot advance a muff punt, and there's no reason to pick up the ball. 3 Mustangs were there, and let's remember that play with 6:24 to go in the second quarter at the 45-yard line of Erie. That should have been Fort Morgan's ball there,
Right.
and why Roper attempted to catch that is beyond me, because that ball was really almost beyond his reach.
Yeah, and then he tried to pick it up, and he was fumbling around with it. He should have just fell on it too, but, you see that, and you want to pick it up, and you've got that open field, but best thing you can do is just fall on that
But
thing.
that rule clarification by Kevin is excellent, because you're right, it would have done no good. You got to fall on that ball. A Mustang could have picked it up. It's not a blocked punt where you can advance. It's a muff punt which you cannot advance. And now Fort Morgan calls a timeout. That's an excellent timeout called by the Mustangs, because mentally, I still think mentally that's a momentum changer, even though Erie was supposed to get the ball. But if you want to knock off the #1 team in the state, those are the plays that you have to make.
It's a coachable moment. Yeah, I think it was Cale Langford that tried to make that play, and he's a sophomore, and you talk to him and you coach him up on the rules and why there's advantage for different things. Gosh, you always want to follow on that ball when you have a chance to get it in their territory.
See what over a century of customer service can do for you at High Plains Bank in Wiggins, offering you a variety of banking needs, including agriculture and personal loans. That's High Plains Bank in Wiggins. I'm John Beltran with Brian Nichol and Kevin Rohde, tied at 14.
Yeah, that could have been one of their.
That's a huge
turnover that they could have come up with.
That's a huge play that didn't happen. Nonetheless, though, you can stop them here defensively. At their own 45, man in motion to the left. And there is the pitch right to Roper. Roper now throws it on the run, wide open is Furman. He's got it at the 30, middle of the field at the 10. Moya in pursuit at the 2, but he falls in the end zone. It's a touchdown. Roper to Furman, 55 yards on some trickery. And Erie has claimed the lead for the first time. It's 20-14.
That's not Roper's first touchdown throw of the season. He's thrown like 3 cleats before, and one of them was for a touchdown.
And he actually kind of underthrew that one.
Yep.
Yeah, Caden Edson had him, and then when he saw Roper coming up, he peeled off of him. Well, Roper hadn't crossed the line of scrimmage yet, and he found him wide open.
Well, he did have running room to the outside, so it was pick your poison. Unfortunately, they picked the wrong poison. Extra point to be attempted by Custine. Furman will hold. And, well, Fort Morgan's pointing towards Erie. Let's see who moved. Offsides against Fort Morgan. Will they still attempt the extra point? Some teams like to go for 2. So Noah Roper with 2 touchdown runs and now a touchdown pass. And that came from 55 yards away to Caleb Furman. Awaiting the snap. It's a low snap. The kick is up, though, and that's perfect.
Kick is up and good.
6 minutes and 14 seconds to go. We are in the second quarter from Legion Field in Fort Morgan in the regular season finale. The Erie Tigers, ranked number 1 in 3A, lead the Fort Morgan Mustangs 21-14 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. It's a shootout here in Fort Morgan as the Erie Tigers, 9-0 going in, lead the Mustangs 21-14. A 55-yard pass from Roper to Caleb Furman. And now Fort Morgan must respond and deadlock this game again. That's a high, deep kick into the end zone, about 7 yards deep. And if you can somehow eat up clock, and you have the ability to do that here because Erie only has 1 timeout, so they can't stop the clock even multiple times. You pick up at the very least 2 to 3 first downs, then Erie would have to come up with a big play to score before the break.
Yeah, they've got to move the ball. They've got to make some yardage here.
1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Willow Coffee and Bake Shop, a delicious treat, breakfast or lunch option to make the day that much better on Edison Street in Brush. Willow Coffee and Bake Shop. By the way, the 64-yard pass from Linker to Hamer, brought to you by Cargill Meat Solutions, working with the community to make sure there are jobs for the members of the communities they're in. There's the handoff to Hamer, running left, then stopping and trying to cut it back, and then he slammed down at the 22, maybe the 23-yard line.
Yeah, Erie's too good with their pursuit. He can't really slow down there and try and let that guy go by because there's going to be a defender coming in from the inside to get him.
Ian McDonald made the hit. 7 carries. Now for Hamer. He's got 29 yards, and he's also got 64 yards on that touchdown reception. 2 receivers out to the left. 1 setback as Hamer, 2nd down and 8 from the 22. Moya in motion to the right, gets the pitch, looking for a block, swings it to the outside of the 25. Flag is down. 2 flags are down. That means the Fort Morgan penalty. I think that might have been a block in the back that time. Down at the 26-yard line as Moya would be a gain of 4, but that is coming back.
That was a holding they called.
Yep, it is a hold against Fort Morgan. And the one thing is to commit penalties, but committing penalties this deep in your own territory is going to hurt them that much more and give Erie outstanding field position.
Yeah.
But again, we go back to the play that was not made on special teams.
Right.
And that looms even larger with every play that has taken place since then. It's back to the 13-yard line, 2nd down and 17.
Somehow Fort Morgan has to stop the bleeding. It's like all of a sudden the whole game is turning, and if they don't stop it, it's going to be over pretty quick.
Out of the pistol formation is Linker. On 2nd and 17, Noah Roper has accounted for 3 touchdowns tonight. They're coming on a blitz, and this will be a handoff to Hamer. Stutter stepping up the middle to the 15, now at the 19, maybe the 20-yard line. That's a nice run because I figured, boy, you came on that, what they might have thought was a pass blitz, but he gained 7. 3rd down and 10. Hamer now at 36 yards on 8 carries. 21-14 Erie in the second quarter. Approaching the 4.5-minute mark, so plenty of time for the Tigers to get back on the board if the Mustangs cannot pick up a first down. Ortega and Moya are the receivers to the left. Fort Morgan has completed just 1 pass. Back to throw is Linker. Looks to his left. Heaves it up the left side. Ortega cannot make the catch. He dropped it at the 42. He had to cut back to the inside. And Ty Davies thought that Ortega was interfered with by Erie's Isaac Kana because he kind of bumped him as Ortega was making an adjustment to the football.
Yeah, I thought maybe that's why Ortega kind of tripped there. Well, maybe they were calling it incidental contact or something. I don't know. But.
And Jacob has outstanding hands. I think Jacob would still tell you that he should have made that catch.
That's still the sense on it. And now we go on to the dangerous Noah Roper.
Yep. Alex Ortega, high snap at his own 5. Low line drive, fluttering punt, bounces at the 49-yard line and takes a huge Fort Morgan roll to the 43. So the punt goes for 37 yards, no return. And now it's time for the Fort Morgan defense to show up again. But again, Erie is so good with a big play. 41-yard run by Roper, 55-yard pass from Roper to Furman. And you have used the word, since we've been working together for the last couple of seasons, Kevin, discipline.
Yes.
And if Fort Morgan doesn't stay disciplined in their lanes and doesn't bite in certain plays, forget about it.
Yeah, like you talked about Edson, he got to realize his job is to stay with that receiver until he sees Roper across the line of scrimmage.
Right, he wasn't going to make that tackle.
No.
Because he was too far away.
And if he came up and he was the last guy to get him, he probably wasn't going to make the tackle in the open field anyway.
Right, but all the Mustangs have got to be disciplined. 1st and 10, Erie from the 43. Awaiting the snap. That is Mendoza that time, handing off to Roper across the left side and back towards the middle. A gain of 3 to the 46-yard line. Jesus Villalobos made the hit. 2nd down and 7 to go for Erie. 102 yards on 17 carries for Noah Roper, who is approaching 1,800 yards in 2018. Well, they mark the football now at the 45, so 2nd down and 8. Mendoza to Roper, back to the left side, tries to snap out of a tackle. Boy, whoever held on to him, a gain of 1, that was outstanding. I wonder if that was Gherkin. Yeah, I think Gherkin held on to him, and Gherkin is hurting, but he was not going to let go. If Gherkin lets go, Roper's still running.
Yep. Shoestring tackle, just had him by the ankle and wouldn't let go.
3rd down after the gain of 1, and 7 to go from their own 46-yard line. Erie 21, Fort Morgan 14. 3 minutes to go before the halftime break. 2 receivers out to the right. Roper again, the lone setback from the pistol. Gavin Mendoza, the diminutive quarterback. Play action, rolls out to his left, still rolling. He's got a wide open space, throws on the run, and that is going to be incomplete. Out of bounds at the 30, maybe the 25-yard line. I cannot believe Mendoza didn't take off. He had a huge lane.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been an easy first down.
That whole left side was wide open.
Yeah.
You know what that's called? I think that's called tunnel vision.
Right.
I think he only saw his receiver and didn't see anything underneath, but he had he had at least 10 to 15 yards of wide open space.
Right. And that's the power of having a Noah Roper. You fake to him, and 8 of the Fort Morgan defenders all of a sudden are busy, and you just got to deal with the other 3.
All right, here we go. So now Costine to punt. And a fluttering punt. But Moya should let that go. Well, it goes out of bounds. That's a tremendous punt inside the 10. Their special teams with the punting and kicking games, very good. Let's see where that went out of bounds. Maybe at the 5?
Yep, pretty close there.
Yeah, both punting and kicking, they've done a much better job than Fort Morgan, I think. Not that Fort Morgan has done bad, but they're just one step above us at this point.
I think they'll mark it at the 6. That's a 48-yard punt, and that was all on the fly. Well, remember, Erie only has 1 timeout. You've got 2:38 to go. If you pick up one forget about scoring here. If you pick up 1 first down, you can run this out. All right, it's at the 7 officially. There's no mistakes at this point. 1st and 10 for the 7. Linker will take it himself. Not much running room, and in fact, I don't think he got back to the original line of scrimmage. Maybe right at the stick.
Back to the line of scrimmage.
2nd down and 10 to go. And I'm telling you right now, if you're Fort Morgan, I would run that play clock all the way down to about 3 before taking the snap.
Yep.
You don't want to give Erie any time here. You have to manage the clock on this possession because you're backed up.
In order you're going to get the ball after this.
Yeah, Erie should get the ball with under a minute to go if they get it back. They should not get the ball with over a minute to go. If not, that's just not the clock management that you should be seeking when you're down by 7 late in the 2nd quarter and at your own 7-yard line. On 2nd down and 10, Linker hands it off to Hamer right up the middle to the 15. He's got a first down or close to it at the 16, maybe the 17-yard line. Hamer very close to a first down. It's a gain. I'm going to call it about 9. He had an explosion there.
Spotted at the 17.
3rd down and 1.
30 yards.
Let's see, now you got 1:27 to go, and the clock is running. Well, you pick up a first down, you can take the 7-point deficit into the half. Handoff, Hamer, first down, and he's got a big hole across the 20 to the 21, maybe the 22. It's a gain of 6 for J.P. Hamer.
Roper came in, put a big lick on him there, and Hamer's walking a little gingerly, but I think it's going to be okay.
Well, you have confidence in your offense, but your passing game, with the exception of the first play from scrimmage, has been non-existent, so Fort Morgan still has to be careful. I mean, you can go for the home run right now. You can go for the home run with 57 seconds to go and the clock running, but the only way Erie can get on the board here is if Fort Morgan makes a huge mistake. 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line. Linker rolls out to his left. Backside pressure. Still rolling. He's flush. Throws it out of bounds. Intended for Ortega at the 32-yard line. Boy, lots of yelling going on. I'm not sure exactly who is looking for what there.
I think they were looking for Fajardo being held by the defender there.
Yep, I think you're right. I don't think an official was actually looking downfield.
All right.
2nd down and 10 from the 22-yard line. But, Brian, now you have the option of still taking it into halftime.
Oh, yeah.
Because you run a play, they can't call it. They can call a timeout, but they can't call one after that. And you're down to 40.7 seconds to go.
Yeah, they don't need to look to score here. They're too far away.
2nd down and 10 at their own 22-yard line. Isaac Linker awaits a snap, hands it off to Hamer, running to his left. He cannot get around a defender. He's down for a loss of about 1.5 yards at the 21-yard line. That's a very good open field tackle. That's a big man out there for Erie. Alonzo Warner.
Warner on the stop.
Looks like it was, no, that was Hackney. Nathan Hackney, I believe. 6 foot 240. So it's a loss of 1. 3rd down and 11.
Yeah, they don't have to run a play.
Yep. Yeah, you wouldn't run it here.
No, they'll just take it into the...
That's a smart thing to do. Fort Morgan did a fantastic job of managing the clock. As we head to the break with the score. Erie 21, Fort Morgan 14 on B106 and B106.com. We'll head to the third quarter as the Fort Morgan Mustangs at 8-1 trail the number 1 ranked Erie Tigers, the 9-0 Tigers, 21-14. The Mustangs with a 64-yard touchdown catch from J.P. Hamer and Isaac Linker's 8-yard run. And as expected, Noah Roper has done damage for Erie. Runs of 1 and 41 yards for scores, and a 55-yard touchdown pass to give Erie the lead to Caleb Furman. But Fort Morgan did weather the storm over the final few minutes, because you've seen in football before,
right?
This could be a 2-touchdown advantage for one team, but it's only at 1, and Fort Morgan gets the second half kickoff.
Right, you had it right there. We kick off. They're expected to go back and forth, and now we're going to get the kick back, and if we score, we're all tied up. I think that intro music was apropos, though. I think Fort Morgan's mentality has to be that this is our house. This is the house of Fort Morgan football, and we're going to defend it, and you're not going to beat us here. And come out and play like they played first quarter. I think they'll be okay.
J.P. Hamer and Isaac check out Jacob Ortega back deep to receive. But this kicker, this Custine, has just drilled the football into the end zone as the temperature is dropping in Fort Morgan. But it seems to be fairly pleasant, not too much wind, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, for the first part of November, it's pretty nice.
And now, about to approach the football is Julian Custine, and he drills that one high and into the end zone, about 4 yards deep. And the Mustangs once again have the ball at their own 20. Well, the one thing that they're no longer winning is field position. Erie has done an excellent job of flipping the field, and that started pretty much around the midway portion of the second quarter.
Yep. Then they had those 2 penalties, 2 holding penalties, and that killed them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Then they're flipping their own field.
Right.
A big difference between the 30 and the 15-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. At their own 20. Yeah, and if Fort Morgan falls behind by 2 scores, and then you get away from your game plan and have to throw the ball a lot more after only attempting 7 passes in the first half, then you're in real trouble. 1st and 10. Linker, 3-step drop. Heaves it deep up the left side, and it's caught by Ortega at the 50-yard line. A perfectly thrown ball by Isaac Linker. There's a man down for Erie. It's a gain of 29 and a first down for Fort Morgan. And Isaac Linker could not have thrown that ball any better.
No, he couldn't have placed it in his arms any better than that. It looks like it's Celeste. Anguson Celeste down for Erie.
Yep, at the 48, they'll say now. Gain of 28.
I think he got hit by his own man Roper.
He did.
Coming over to
absolutely
that tackle.
Yeah, he got his bell rung. I think his other extremities are fine, but it's the head area where he just took a shot. But that ball was thrown perfectly by Isaac Linker.
Yep.
And again, not a high completion percentage, but he takes advantage. 2 out of 8 for 92 yards and a touchdown here for Linker. 17 touchdowns, just 1 interception. That's the updated numbers for Isaac Linker. Crystal clear ice, good for any drink at any time of the year. That's AC Ice. You can pick up AC Ice at any local grocery or convenience store in Northeast Colorado today. And quite frankly, this looks like an injury that could sideline him for the game.
Yeah. Let's hope he just got the wind knocked out of him really bad, but boy, he's not moving at all. They're not encouraging him to move.
Well, they're making him, he was moving his fingers, so.
Maybe got a stinger.
Yeah, he's a senior at 5'10", 160. And with Roper at 6 foot 195, that's not necessarily a collision that favors the smaller player. And Celeste is off under his own power, but let's see if he returns to the game, because that was quite a shot. 1st and 10 for Fort Morgan at their own 48-yard line. And when you're playing big games like this, you don't like to see even one injury.
No.
You want everybody at full strength.
You want to play them at their best. They don't want to be saying, well, we had a guy out, they beat us because of somebody. You want to play him man to man, and
well said, absolutely.
so.
Jacob Ortega is the receiver to the right. He made his first catch. He's going to need probably 2 or 3 more to be a huge factor here because he's been their #1 receiver throughout the season. Jesus Villalobos lining up on that inside slot to the left, just past the 48-yard line. Villalobos realigns to the right. Linker turns, hands it off to Hamer, running to his right, swinging it to the outside of the 50. A flag is down. I think Villalobos held down at the 47, a gain of 5, but there's no doubt that Hamer was freed because of the hold on Fort Morgan.
Got a hold on the Mustang.
And at some point, you're going to have to not hold, and if your running back picks up just a yard or 2, that's it.
Right. Yeah, because that hold was about 3 yards in the backfield. That's going to be a 13-yard penalty.
1st and 23 at their own 35-yard line. And Brian, that was one of your keys on a nickel package there. Penalties.
Yeah.
And right now, that's played a huge factor. Ernie Sandoval, a sophomore, is now in for Fort Morgan. 21-14 Erie, early portion of the 3rd quarter. On 1st and 10, 1st and 23, after the 1st and 10 holding. Isaac Linker now trying to pull one out of a hat again. Back to throw, throws to his left, caught by Ortega underneath, makes a move back towards the inside and is down at the 40. Well, but I think it's what you said before, Kevin. Just take it to the outside, take your yardage there.
Right.
He could have had more than the 5 yards, but if you're trying to cut back in against a fast defense, you're going to cost yourself yardage.
Plus, you might get a turnover because someone's going to be coming and blindside you and knock that ball loose.
Now it's 2nd down and 18 at their own 40-yard line. I like that play design, but you got to go for more than 5 yards. Receivers to the right.
Good job.
Yep. The left defensive end jumped for Erie. So now Fort Morgan will pick up 5 yards, but it's 2nd down and 13 at their own 45-yard line. When it comes to experience, Buildings by Design is the very best in the business. Quality, commitment, and experience makes Buildings by Design the only choice when it comes to your next project. Buildings by Design. Linker will take it himself, running to his right, back to the middle, to the 50-yard line. He's loose at the 45. Linker with a 1st down. There's a face mask at the 40-yard line. That'll give Fort Morgan 15 more. And for Isaac Linker, that's a gain of 15 yards and a Mustang 1st down.
Yeah, and that's got to be the 15 variety because
he was pulled down. Yeah, that could not be 5. He was pulled down, and that's exactly what it is, the 15-yard face mask. And the Mustangs have the ball at the Erie 25-yard line.
That was a nice run by Linker, though.
Yeah.
He had that 1st down before he got before they had the penalty, but he did some nice shifty running in there.
And I think Fort Morgan's got to come up with some way to take advantage of Erie's over pursuit and speedy defense, maybe a screen or some sort of cross buck, go back the other way. Might have success with that.
1st down and 10 for the Mustangs at the Erie 25. 9:55 to go, 3rd quarter. Erie with a 21-14 lead. The Mustangs have had leads of 7-0 and 14-7. But neither team has been up by 2 scores. Here's the option left. Hamer will run it himself to the 20-yard line, and then he's taken down at the 18, maybe the 17, by Ian Vera. And we will give Isaac Linker, the senior quarterback, a gain of 7. 2nd down and 3 yards to go. And Linker's run the ball very well tonight. 6 carries for 65 yards. That's a solid option for Fort Morgan.
Yep.
2nd down and 3 for the 18. Linker looking over towards the sideline. And again, they got out of a 1st and 23.
Yep.
And that's a huge momentum turner if Fort Morgan can convert this into points. Linker hands off to Hamer, close to a 1st down as he lunges to the 15-yard line. I think he's got it right there. It is a gain of 3 for Hamer, who now has 12 carries for 53 yards. Do they not give him the 1st down? It looks like they do.
Just inside the 15, that's a Mustang 1st down.
Just enough for that 1st down.
We've seen a little bit of everything tonight. From the 15-yard line, Erie jumped again, coming on a blitz. was the linebacker, the middle linebacker there. I don't think that was, well, he's wearing a 77, but I thought he was further down the field. Now it's 1st and 5 for the 10, so Erie's now helping out Fort Morgan after Fort Morgan committed a holding penalty moments ago.
Yeah, he's getting that inflection, if that be the proper word for Indy's voice.
1st and 5 from the 10-yard line. The Mustangs are looking for the equalizer with the touchdown and the extra point.
Yeah.
Nothing to be assumed. Every single point is precious in a game of this magnitude. Sandoval realigns. Linker looks to throw. Linker rolls out to his right. Linker breaks out of a tackle, and then he throws it away. Tried to throw it underneath, but that's the right play to make. And most quarterbacks would have gone down, but not Linker. And you got to be real careful with the throw. 1st and 5 at the 10. Yep. He's got to be so open because the only time Linker threw an interception was in the red zone against Thomas Jefferson. 2nd down and 5 to go at the 10-yard line. Isaac Linker is only 3 out of 10, but he's thrown for 97 yards and a touchdown. Again, now you would expect either Linker or Hamer to carry the football. On 2nd and 5, this is Linker, left side, and he drags a defender to the 9, but that's it. And that is Hackney, Nathan Hackney, the leading tackler for this team. 3rd down, and 4 to go at the 9. And do we have an equipment issue? Normally,
Ernie's hurt.
Well, Ernie Sandoval, that'll be the case throughout his career. He plays hard and physical, and
he's not.
Ernie gets banged up quite a bit, but he's tough. Now the clock will rerun on 3rd down, and 4 to go for the 9. Inside of 8.5 minutes to go in the 3rd, with the Mustangs down 21-14. Easily 4-down territory here for Fort Morgan. From the pistol formation, Isaac Linker. Again, looking over towards the sideline.
Well, they're counting down.
Yep.
We're going to call timeout.
Got to get it off.
Too late.
And now there's the delay of game unless Fort Morgan called a timeout. Nope. Boy, that's another.
That's the
Remember
unforgivable time management problem there.
Yeah.
Just can't let that happen.
Yeah, because now you're looking at a 3rd down and 9 from the 14. I mean, I know Erie's given you a couple, but you can't give one of those back. Not against the number 1 team in 3A. You can get away with that against some other teams, but not against this team.
Not 3rd and 5 at their 10-yard line.
Well, it was 1st and 5, but now it's 3rd and 9 at the 14. I don't think a field goal is an option here for Fort Morgan. Linker from the pistol. 3-step drop, looks to his left, then throws it over the middle, and that is going to be incomplete. Oh, it looked like it was in the hands of J.P. Hamer. And from my vantage point, I think he dropped it.
Yep.
Perfect pass here from Linker, 4th and 9.
He was in triple coverage there. It wasn't like he was...
He got it in. It looked like it might have been a little out in front of him. He got his left hand out there and got on it.
Mustangs will go for it on 4th and 9 for the 14. This could be a momentum turner for Erie as the Mustangs started at their own 20-yard line. And they went 70 yards, but now it backtracked 4 yards. And now Fort Morgan calls a timeout, which is good and bad. Because if you don't score off the timeout, then you've only got 2 timeouts remaining and you're trailing in this game. With a 21-14 Erie lead. Like a good neighbor, Greg Mullen and his team are there at State Farm Insurance to make the world of insurance easy for you. 842-45-55. And Mr. D's Ace Home Center, a proud supporter of the area athletes. They'll serve you with all your home, farm, and ranch supplies. 3 locations, Sterling Brush and Fort Morgan. Mr. D's Ace Home Center. Along with Brian Nickman and Kevin Rohde, I'm John Beltran from Legion Field. 21-14. If you're listening live, we'll have another Facebook Live segment coming up during the postgame. Our pregame segment up there with head coach Rick Call, former head coach Rick Call, on our B106 page. 4th down and 9 for the Mustangs at the Erie 14-yard line. Two receivers split out to the right. Now man in motion to the left is Donovan Moya that isolates Jacob Ortega. Here's the fade, right corner of the end zone. Ortega's out there. He caught it! Touchdown! In the back corner of the end zone. A perfect throw from Isaac Linker. And the Mustangs draw to within 14 yards away. Erie, 21. Fort Morgan, 20 on 4th and 9.
That was just perfectly put right in there in that spot in the corner fade.
Yeah, what a beautiful pass from Linker.
The all-important extra point is coming up. You get nervous with these things because Erie comes with a lot of pressure. And they came across. I believe they came across.
Yep.
You know, Fort Morgan might think about going for 2 one of these times. I mean, really, you've got one of the top running backs in the state in Hamer. But it is a risk, of course. It's definitely a risk. So they will attempt the extra point just a little bit closer. Linker once again is the holder. There's the snap. The kick is up, and that one is right down the middle. 7:55 to go. We're in the third quarter of this classic football game from Legion Field. It's Fort Morgan 21, Erie 21. This is Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. The Mustangs just went 80 yards. And on the 9th play of the drive, a 14-yard pass on 4th and 9 from Isaac Linker to Jacob Ortega. Linker's second touchdown pass of the game. And we are deadlocked at 21. Kickoff toward the sideline, fielded at the 18 along the sideline, and then knocked out of bounds for Erie. Again, one of the up man for Erie. And that time it was Dylan Kendall, a sophomore. Pretty decent field position for Erie with under 8 minutes to go in the third, and it's anybody's game.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. I like that they're kicking off, so they're keeping it out of Roper's hands. They're not giving him a chance to beat him on the kickoffs anyway.
Right. Can't keep it out of his hand from the line of scrimmage,
no. Tough. Haven't figured that one out yet.
Ortega's proven to be a huge factor now with 3 catches on that drive for 47 yards. 1st and 10 for the 32 from the pistol. Mendoza hands it off to Roper, running right back to the middle. Grabbed around the ankles. The ball is loose, but Erie falls on it. I thought he was down anyway.
Yeah, I thought he was down quite a while ago.
Yeah, Alex Ortega was in on the hit along with Isaac Linker. Gain of 4 to the 36, 2nd down, and 6 yards to go for the Erie Tigers.
He's got some quick moves in there. I mean, although they've done a nice job tonight on their tackling.
That offensive line of Erie's doing a good job opening up holes, too.
From the 36, Mendoza throws out to the right. It's caught by Furman, but Moya's got him back at the 33. That play didn't work before, and that play, Kevin Rohde, didn't work this time.
No, at least that time they had one guy go out and try and block, but one guy was trying to block 3 defenders, and Moya just read that all the way. Imagine if you look on their film, they probably run that a couple times a game, and no one's been able to stop them. Langford does a good job of, looking at that film and finding their tendencies.
It's a loss of 1. 3rd down and 7 to go for the 35. Can the Mustangs make a play here? From the pistol, Mendoza with Roper to his left. Mendoza's going to take it himself up the middle of the 40. He's got maybe short of a first down. He was spun forward to the 42, very close. I think he's right at the stick. It's a gain of 7. He needed that much, but if he didn't get it, he's very close. Very close. They're going to give him a first down. And he hasn't had much daylight the limited times he's carried the ball, but that time he did. And the drive continues for Erie. 1st and 10 at their own 42-yard line. 6:11 to go, third quarter. Fort Morgan 21, Erie 21. One receiver out to the left. That's Dylan Kendall. Isolated over there with Donovan Moya. Taking the direct snap will be Roper himself, and there was definitely procedure there, a false start.
You got flags.
I think that was the center's fault because
Motion.
everybody moved, and then the ball was snapped about a fraction of a second later.
About 37.
Yeah, and Erie may just be due to have a game where they make a lot of mental mistakes like this, and it might just come and bite them. And Fort Morgan playing a really good game is going to beat them. We'll see, though.
First and 15 for the Tigers at their own 37-yard line. Do we have just 18 minutes of football left, or maybe overtime? We'll find out. This time it's Mendoza handing off to Roper, cutting it back across the 40, still on his feet. Nick Norris throws him down at the 45. But that's a pretty solid gain of 7. Second down and 8 to go for Erie. 20th carry for Noah Roper. He's up to 113 yards, and he scored twice and has thrown a touchdown pass. Caleb Furman is the receiver to the right, along with Tyler Gardner. Second and 7. Handoff. Roper, big hole up the middle. First down across the 50 to the 48, maybe to the 47, and we have a Mustang down right in the middle.
Yeah, one guy had a shot at him and could only get an arm on him, and you're not going to bring Roper down with an arm tackle.
It's a gain of 8.
That's 48.
And again, you don't want anybody hurt in such a big game like this. I mean, that's what'll just crush you, especially if it's a player that statistically is up there and either tackles or big plays. I don't see who that is. I don't know if that, nope, I was thinking it was one player, but I see him out there on a knee. Not sure who's out there for Fort Morgan getting treated at about the 47-yard line. Gives us the opportunity to tell you that engineering and consulting services for all of your projects at Western Engineering Consultants. Strong commitment to their clients' needs sets them apart. Western Engineering Consultants. Deadlocked at 21. The Mustangs have the only points in this quarter. A 14-yard pass from Isaac Linker to Jacob Ortega on a 4th and 9. And now the Mustang who's injured is getting up, and that is Jesus Villalobos, and looks like he turned an ankle. Right ankle, so he could be out for the game.
And Sandoval's the other one, or Sanchez, this other guy that plays that position. They may have to go back to having Eddie, what's his name, 14?
Eddie
the
Priest.
Priest come in and play that a little bit.
First and 10 for Erie, just past the Fort Morgan 48-yard line. Gavin Mendoza with Roper in motion to the right. No, it's Roper who's got the handoff running to his left. He's got a big seam to the 40, along the sideline to the 30, breaks out of a tackle, then is tackled out of bounds towards the 16-yard line. Big hole for Noah Roper. And we'll give you the yardage as soon as the football is spotted, but as soon as he bounced it outside, he was able to sprint to the 17, a gain of 31 for Noah Roper.
Noah Roper is as advertised. He's the real deal.
Yep. 152 yards for the senior. Mendoza to Roper, right up the gut, inside the 15 to about the 12, maybe the 11. Okanetto made the hit, a gain of 5 to the 12. Second down and 5 yards to go for Erie. The clock reads 4 minutes and 22 seconds in a 21-21 game.
Their offensive line is just firing straight out, and Roper's picking the hole. I don't think they have a set hole that he goes through.
At the 12, Mendoza will keep it himself, running off left tackle, and he's hit at the 10 for a gain of a couple. That time Fort Morgan read it, but the key play on this drive was the 3rd and 7 run by Mendoza. They stopped that. Mustangs have the ball then.
Yeah,
Just outside the 10. Third down and
Now we're looking at 3rd and 3. I'll give it 3rd and 4 there. Yeah, we got to get to the 6. So 3rd and 4 for Erie. And a field goal might be an option for them because they've got a strong kicking game.
Yeah, they've got a great kicker there.
But if they're within a yard or two of making it, I think they go for it. On 3rd and 4, Roper will take the direct snap. He'll take it himself, swinging it towards the left side, towards the edge. He's got an easy touchdown, 10 yards out. Noah Roper untouched around the left side, his 3rd rushing touchdown of the game, his 32nd of 2018. Erie has reclaimed the advantage. It's 27-21. And now the extra point.
And there wasn't anybody out there. We're just sucking in on that inside run, and he just bouncing it out, and nobody out there. I don't know. That defensive end has got to come upfield and stop him from going out there. And I don't know if one guy can bring him down, but at least maybe you could turn him back into the rest of them.
Right.
Custine's extra point is off his right foot, and the line drive is right there. 3 minutes, 23 seconds remaining, 3rd quarter in Fort Morgan in the regular season finale. The score, Erie 28, Fort Morgan 21 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. The Erie Tigers have responded to Fort Morgan's touchdown. They went down the field, a key conversion, a 3rd and 7 in their own territory, and then Noah Roper scored from 10 yards out. He's up to 166 yards on 24 carries, 3 touchdowns, and Erie leads 28-21. And Julian Custine will boot that football high, deep, and into the end zone, 9 yards deep. And Fort Morgan will have to counter that one. Again, neither team has led by 2 scores.
No, they've got to answer it. They can't get down 2.
Right.
Well, last year I believe they lost to Longmont 35-21, but that was a different game. Fort Morgan committed 5 turnovers. They were down 21-0 fairly quickly. This is a well-played game. We do not have a single turnover, although Fort Morgan had a chance to come up with a fumble recovery on special teams in the 2nd quarter, and that still looms as a large play. 1st down and 10. There's the handoff to Hamer, running off left side and then back to the middle to the 24, gain of 4. And yeah, there were only 10 defenders out there for Erie. Only 10 defenders.
Still is.
Well, I don't know. I think
they got 11 now.
Yeah, they got 11. 2nd down and 6 to go at the 24-yard line. Hamer now with 57 yards on 13 carries. Isaac Linker has the football, looks to his left, wants to throw up the sideline, incomplete. Fajardo was out there, but deflected away at the last second by Isaac Kana. 3rd down and 6 to go. I think he needed a little bit more air on that football.
Yeah, I thought maybe that kid was going to come across and get it, intercept it.
Boy, what a critical play in the game right now. Fort Morgan on their previous drive overcame a 1st and 23. Now it's a 3rd and 6 at their own 24-yard line, trailing 28-21 in the waning moments of the 3rd quarter. Trips to the right. Long receiver to the left is Fajardo. Linker looks to his right, throws underneath. The pass is caught by Hamer to the 25, back to the inside, and he's close to a 1st down. Oh, he got a late flag. And that might be against Fort Morgan with a hold, and that's too bad because Hamer, I think, was going to pick up the 1st down without the penalty.
Yep,
somebody got another Fort Morgan kid down.
Yep, and it is against Fort Morgan, so that's a double whammy there. We've got the injury, and we've got a penalty. A Mustang injured for the 2nd time in the quarter. Villalobos already out of the game with what looks like a sprained ankle. It should nullify the 7-yard pickup on that pass out in the right flat. I'm not sure who's down for Fort Morgan along the far side. But now, the game taking its toll a little bit on the Mustangs with now our 2nd injury. I mean, how many injuries have we had over the first 36 quarters going into this game? I mean, there was some early in the season. Andrew Monroe was injured, and
Tronston got hurt.
Right, Julian Tronston off an interception, but we haven't seen too many since then.
No.
And now we have a Mustang being traded for an injury at the 28-yard line. Again, Erie leads 28-21 with 2:35 to go in the third quarter. I'm John Beltran with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde. And the Mustangs, after this game, will await their playoff fate. 15th in the RPI going into the game, but since they're playing such a solid team, you would think they're not going to be negatively affected if they happen to lose this game.
So while we have a chance here, let's talk about this RPI. I like the fact that a team that's really good but ends up third in their league gets a chance to make the playoffs. But, you know, a kid can't really decide what teams his team's going to play. And you can have a really, really good team, be second place in a league that's really bad, and they just happen to schedule teams that are down and not get in. That doesn't seem fair to me as well either.
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely a flawed system. All right, Dylan Woods will limp off the field, but the Mustangs have committed a critical penalty and now face a 3rd down and 17 at their own 13-yard line. Too many penalties here for Fort Morgan.
Yep.
When you look at what's been happening. And this could be the first time that Erie is going to have possession of the football with a chance to go up by 2 scores unless Fort Morgan can pull off a big play here. They did it on 4th and 9 for their touchdown. You got to look for Jacob Ortega. 3 catches on the previous drive, and he's single covered over there by Caleb Furman. Well, now you got the safety backing up. If Ortega can get free, that would make the big difference.
We're going to get this off. We're getting down under 10 seconds.
On 3rd down and 17, play clock at 3, at 2, they get it off. Back to throw, Linker, pressure coming, takes off with the football, he's sacked. Back at the 11, he loses 2 yards, and the Mustangs will have to punt on 4th and 19.
You're going to give us some good field position here.
Yeah. Erie's going to come out of this in great field position, looks like, but he didn't have any time to do anything back there.
Not sure it wasn't a designed quarterback draw almost, the way he took off, but
Ortega standing halfway into his own end zone. Awaiting the snap. And it's a high snap, but he's got it, and he gets it off. But it might have been partially blocked.
It was.
It was partially blocked, and it goes out of bounds deep in Fort Morgan territory, probably at around the 15 or 16-yard line, and Erie's in business in the red zone. So special teams has made a huge difference in this game, not recovering a muffed punt, and then a partially blocked punt, and Erie leading 28-21 with 1:44 to go in the third. Now has the ball at the Fort Morgan 16-yard line.
It's definitely gut check time for the Fort Morgan defense here. They've got to come up with a turnover or a stop.
Special teams got put into that position, though, with a holding call. So
1st and 10. Mendoza hands it off to Roper to the 15-yard line. Grabbed around the ankles by Isaac Linker down at the 13. I'll give him the 12, a gain of 4. Roper is now up to 170 yards on 25 carries. Par for the course for Noah Roper. On 2nd down and 6 for the 12-yard line. Mendoza for the pistol. Hands it off to Roper, running off left tackle. He's got a couple of yards to the 10. Nice penetration by that Fort Morgan defense. Gain of 2. Hamer was around that football. Along with, of course, Linker and a couple of others. 3rd down. And 4 yards to go for the 10. Mendoza will keep himself. He's hit in the backfield and down at the 13-yard line. Mustangs were not fooled, and Hamer was right there. Well, it's a heck of a play there by Hamer and James Hokenedel. A 3-yard loss.
And they are going for the field goal.
Well, they do have the kicking game. This should be about a 30-yard field goal here from Julian Costine to give Erie a 2-possession lead. That's the key in this sequence. 30 yards from the left hash. On a 4th down and about 7, awaiting the snap is Furman. He's the holder. Puts it down. The kick is up. And that is inside the right upright. It is good from 30 yards away. We'll stay right here with 2.3 seconds to go in the third. Erie 31, Fort Morgan 21.
Well, it's a moral victory for Fort Morgan's defense there to hold them to 3.
Oh, absolutely.
But now the offense has to come out and play error-free and move the ball down and score so that we're within 3 going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I would have basically, I don't want to say wagered my life, but I would have thought there, Brian, they would have scored a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, starting at the 16-yard line.
Yeah.
Yeah, great job there by the Mustangs. But then, sometimes I think their play calling kills them. Roper makes he gains 5-6 yards shot, and they're
it's almost like they're trying to fool Fort Morgan when they can play straight up football.
Yeah,
and then just do it like that. But sometimes you want to keep teams off balance and catch them by surprise. So if this kid goes into the end zone, we'll have one more play. It will go into the end zone. What a leg.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that was a field goal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he kicked it in between the uprights. That's about a 75-yard kick.
Yeah.
What a leg.
Yeah, I think he's got a chance of going to college with his leg.
Oh, no question about it.
Is he a senior?
Costine is a senior. Wonder if he's a soccer player, too. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs at their own 20-yard line. You can still stick with your game plan here. Oh, yeah. No reason to panic or anything like that. This will be the final play of quarter number 3 unless we have a defensive penalty. Hand off to Hamer, swinging it to the outside to his left, and then he slips and is down at the 23. Gain of 3. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. Erie 31, Fort Morgan 21 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. The Fort Morgan Mustangs have been right there with the Erie Tigers all game, but they trail 31-21 as we go to the fourth quarter. John Beltran with Brian Nickel and Kevin Rohde. The Mustangs have a 2nd down and 7 to go at their own 23-yard line. Kevin, a must-score situation here.
Yeah, I think that they're going to have to get at least 3 points on this drive.
There's the handoff to Hamer. Big hole up the middle across the 25. Breaking tackles into the secondary to the 40. Along the left sideline to the 45. And then he's down near midfield. A gain of 27 for J.P. Hamer. First down, Fort Morgan.
That's a Mustang first down.
Yeah, he's not easy to bring down either. I mean, he's a strong kid. He's got the will to just keep going.
87 yards for Hamer on 15 carries. And Hamer might have been dinged up at the end of the play. Boy, can you imagine if they did not have him? I mean, the running back position is thin.
Yep.
But J.P. Hamer's like having 2 or 3 guys back there because he's also durable. From midfield, 1st and 10. In the backfield now is the sophomore, Cale Langford. 2 receivers out to the right. Let's see if Linker takes it himself here. And he will, running off right tackle across the 50, still on his feet to the 40, and he's down at the 42-yard line, a gain of 8 for Isaac Linker. 2nd down and 2 to go. There have been some holding penalties, but outside of those, when the Mustangs have executed, the offensive line has been doing their job.
Yeah, they have.
And Isaac Linker's got one of his better games of the year running. 72 yards on 9 carries. 2nd down and 2 to go for Fort Morgan at the Erie 42, trailing 31-21 in the opening minute of quarter number 4. Ortega is the lone receiver, and he's out to the right. Linker. First down as he hands it off to Cale Langford. That's a nice run by the sophomore, a gain of 7 to the 36. And Langford is out and Hamer's in, but Cale did his job beautifully right there.
Yeah.
Ty Davies beats him out on the field, gives him a couple of high fives.
Well, he didn't mess around. He didn't look for, he just ran. Cale just ran, and that's what he's got to do. Forget about looking for a hole. He found a small hole, and he was able to utilize it from the 36-yard line. On 1st down and 10 for Fort Morgan. Looking to make this a 1-score game as they trail by 10. Linker from the pistol. Linker on the option right, runs behind Hamer, then spins to the 34, then is driven back.
Linker on the keeper.
We are at the top of the hour. This is KPRB Brush Fort Morgan, also known as Morgan County's B106. Second down. And still at the 34 there for Linker, a gain of 2. Yeah, for them to kick a field goal, Brian, it'd have to be, I think, a 4th and long and about a 30-yard field goal or less. Other than that, you really got to try to score a touchdown. On second down and 8 for the 34. Linker drops the ball, and it's picked up by Hamer. Hamer tries to break a tackle, but he lunges back to the line of scrimmage. Hey, that's a good play by Hamer. That could have been a disaster. Third down and 8, and that makes it a little bit easier for Fort Morgan because it could have been about 3rd and 11 or 12.
Or it could have been 1st and 10 for Erie if they didn't get a hold of it.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Good point.
And that's kind of the first miscue in the backfield for Fort Morgan at all this game.
Well, that goes as a carry for Hamer. 3rd down and 8 for the 34. And Erie staying more disciplined, not going off sides, not jumping off sides. Ortega and Fajardo, receivers out to the right. Isaac Linker, they're coming on a blitz. He rolls to his right. He might have running room. He throws in the run, and it is caught along the sideline by Connor Fajardo. A beautiful lunging catch at the 20-yard line. It's a gain of 14 and a Fort Morgan first down. And the throw and the catch were equally impressive.
Oh, yeah. That couldn't have been. He had to put it out there. That's where the pass had to go to, and it was a beautiful pitch and catch there by Linker to Fajardo.
From the 20-yard line, Fajardo with his first reception of the game. Linker now with 5 completions in the game for 125 yards. Handoff to Hamer right up the gut, but he's met by a defender. However, he lowers his shoulder and carries a pile towards the 15-yard line. Man, Hamer doesn't look like the biggest kid, but he is strong. I mean, that is simply strong. And that's a gain of 5. I mean, that looked like it was going to be a yard or 2.
Close to the 15, 2nd down and 5.
Hamer now is approaching 100 yards. He's got 98. And what do we have now? We have a stoppage in play.
Oh, we got penalty on someone.
Did somebody line up offsides or something?
I don't know. The line judge on the other side threw a flag. Unsportsmanlike conduct on Erie. Somebody must have said something from the sidelines.
Well, that'll be 1st and goal then. That should be marked at the 7.5-yard line. It'll be at the 8. The Mustangs have been very good in the red zone tonight. Unfortunately, so is Erie.
Yeah.
Erie 31, Fort Morgan 21. And that clock is ticking, Brian.
Yep. They gotta get this in quickly.
7:34 to go in the game. And there was a man who jumped for Erie.
Yep.
Looked like the left tackle over there, Colby Arlington, a junior at 6'1", 250.
Offside Erie.
That'll be 1st and goal
Move it to the 4. It's a first
at the
down goal.
4-yard line, just shy of the 4. But again, the clock is running. And this is the concern. You don't want to win time of possession now.
No. Went down to 7:20 in the 4th quarter.
Didn't it seem the 4th quarter just started?
Yeah.
Because they kicked the field goal with 2 seconds to go in the 3rd. So
right.
Fort Morgan has used up almost half of the quarter.
They need to.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to score on the next play or 2. And Fort Morgan, keep in mind, only has 2 timeouts remaining. Ortega's in motion to the left for the 4. Linker keeps it himself, runs to the left towards the end zone, and he is in! A touchdown! A touchdown right behind his left guard. Isaac Linker scores from 4 yards out. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the game. And the Mustangs draw to within 4. It's 31-27.
Well, you said they had to score the next couple plays, and they followed your orders there, John.
Well, I wish they were my orders, but I'm sure they were the coach's orders as well. And now, the extra point to be attempted by Adam Cardona.
Cardona to the technical point.
And they're coming, boy, and that kick is up, and that is going to be good. 6 minutes and 55 seconds to go in the game. Erie 31, Fort Morgan 28 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. Isaac Linker scored from 4 yards away. And the Mustangs now trail the Erie Tigers 31-28. We have 6 minutes and 55 seconds to go. It's going to be up to the defense to give the Mustangs a chance. They have not led since the first half when they were up 14-7. Adam Cardona will kick it off for Fort Morgan. Noah Roper standing at his own 5-yard line. It's not a playoff game, but it feels like one. Cardona holding up that right hand, ready to approach the football. Should be a short kick, and it is towards the sideline, and it's caught at the 18-yard line. That is Roper across the 35. Then he's tripped up. I think Frankie Ortega got him around the ankles.
Roper on the return, pulled down by Munoz.
Nope, check that. That is Munoz. I think I mistook him again. At the 38-yard line.
Spotted at the 38. Erie will have it there, first down and 10.
Well, this is it. You don't stop them here, it's going to be hard to score twice and stop Erie or recover an onside kick in the process.
Yeah. And they can't let them get too far down the field before they stop them either, because I'm sure Erie is not going to be throwing. At least I wouldn't if I had Noah Roper in my backfield.
Erie has not thrown the entire second half. First and 10 at their own 38-yard line. Under 7 minutes to go in the game. That's Lucero now at quarterback. He'll hand it off to Roper, running to his right. He's got a seam across the 45. That's a first down at midfield. And it's a gain of 12.
Roper on the carry.
For Noah Roper, Alex Ortega was in on the hit. And James Hokenedel as well.
First down, spotted at the 49.
He hits that hole so quick.
Yeah, and he's a good runner because, like all good runners, he gets stronger as the game proceeds.
188 yards on 27 carries. Hand off to Roper off right tackle. Grabbed around the ankles at the 46.
Roper on the carry.
The gain of 4. Eddie DePriest made the hit. Second down and 6 to go for Erie. And Roper doesn't get tired. I mean, one thing is hitting the hole on your first and your 10th and your 15th carry. He doesn't get tired.
And it's like Kevin said, he gets stronger as the game goes on.
Second down and 6 for the 46. Two receivers out to the left. Quarterback Lucero hands it off to Roper, swinging it back towards the middle. He's got a first down across the 45 to the 40.
Roper on the carry.
Not exactly what he needed.
DePriest on the stop.
DePriest made the tackle again, but the sticks move.
Yeah, it's going to be a steady dose of Noah Roper, I think.
Well, Fort Morgan doesn't have to worry about the clock yet, but they will if Erie scores.
Yeah.
However, this is the toughest that Erie's been challenged all season.
Yeah, they know they've been in a fight tonight.
5:18 to go in the game. The clock is running. First and 10. Fort Morgan coming on a blitz, and Roper's tackled around the ankles by Hokenedel. James Hokenedel with a great play. Got that left hand out there and threw him for a loss. Back to the 41-yard, 42. Second down. We'll call it a short 12. Roper's still not at 200 yards because you figure with all the carries he's getting, he's going to get there at some point. He's at 196 on 30 carries tonight. Just inside the 42, second down and 12. Here's Lucero. Lucero wants to throw, rolling out to his right. Heaves it deep over the middle. That pass is going to be broken up. What a play by Moya near the goal line against Caleb Furman. That's an outstanding defensive play. Third down and about 12 to go for Erie.
Yeah, and it stops the clock for Fort Morgan. I guess you're just trying to trick him or surprise him, I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, Roper's been he was They dove through and got him on the previous play, but he's been.
Well, but the thing is, why are they going for the home run? I mean, you could throw underneath. You think it's a higher percentage, but they went for the home run. Third down, and a short 12, a long 11, and now
timeout.
Fort Morgan calls a timeout. Let me tell you, that's a risky timeout because if you don't stop them here,
Timeout, Fort Morgan.
you're going to lose a lot of valuable time if Erie picks up a first down. But you know what? I think that's emblematic of how much confidence they have in their defense, especially after making a play like that, or two plays.
Yep.
The tackle by Hokanedo and the breakup by Moya.
Yeah, and I don't see why they would, at this point, they don't save any time by calling that timeout after an incomplete pass. So it must be that they really feel like they have to motivate them to be smart and play good defense.
The clock reads 4.5 minutes to go. So there's really not that much time left with only one timeout after calling that one. But Erie has a third down and about 12 to go at the Fort Morgan 42-yard line, leading 31-28. It was 21-14 Erie at halftime. You certainly will not assume a pass here, but you've got to stop Noah Roper. If he does get the football, he should be touching the football. He's lining up as a receiver to the right. And here's going to be a running play by Lucero across the 40, and then he's going to be tackled at the 35. He had a seam there. He was able to gain 7 yards, so that time Roper was used as a decoy.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to backtrack that football. That would help. No, they'll put it near the 35. It's a gain of
They're
7.
going to go. I'm thinking I would punt this and get it down in the corner and make Fort Morgan beat them.
Well, but then again, they haven't been able to stop Fort Morgan.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think if it's a low-scoring game, Kevin, you're right. But in a high-scoring game, you figure defenses haven't made as many plays as the offenses. 4th and 5 for the Fort Morgan 35 inside of 4 minutes to go. Roper, a receiver to the right. On 4th and 5, back to throw Lucero. He'll take off with a football. And Lucero short of a first down. He stumbled at the 31, and Fort Morgan has stopped Erie. The Mustangs are going to have a chance here. Lucero a yard plus short of a first down, and Fort Morgan has 3 minutes and 39 seconds and one timeout to work with. So this is going to be it, folks. And you can hear the crowd, a large, near-capacity crowd here in Fort Morgan. 1st and 10, they are 69 yards away from taking the lead. Regardless of the outcome, we've seen a tremendous football game tonight. From the pistol, Linker's going to hand it off to Hamer, thrown for a loss. Back at the 28, he had no shot.
Hamer on the carry, pulled down by Johnson in the backfield.
And one defender broke through.
We can't take our time at this point.
No.
2nd down. As Ethan Johnson made the hit. 2nd down and 13 to go for Fort Morgan. Well, they're not short on time, but they are getting short on time. As we are now almost at 3 minutes to go on 2nd and 13. Linker looking to throw. Heaves it deep up the right side towards Moya. Incomplete. Well defended by Furman at the 40-yard line. And the question is, can Fort Morgan even afford to punt
No,
if they don't pick up a first down?
I think you got to go for it.
Yeah.
There's no way you punt.
But see, here's the other thing. They went for the home run there.
Yeah.
You don't need to go for the home run. I know that's a pattern that's worked with Ortega. 3rd down and 13 to go for Fort Morgan at their own 28-yard line. They need at least 6 or 7 yards to have a decent shot here. They got to get this play off before the play clock runs down. Man in motion to the right is Ortega. Fake pitch. Linker rolls to his left. Backside pressure. He's sacked. Back at the 20-yard line. Linker's taken down. It's a loss of 8.
Linker is pulled down in the back.
And now the defenses have both come through here.
And this is just like a impossible play to come up with a 4th and 22-yard play. And how can you punt? They only have one timeout.
Yeah.
That's the game. They're going to be able to run out the clock.
Timeout
They're going
Erie.
to take Erie.
Oh,
Well-
they forced Erie to take a timeout.
4th and 20.
Well, they want to make sure here because the timeouts don't matter to them as much.
Right. Right, but that stops the clock for us.
Yeah.
At 2:28 to go in the game, Erie leads Fort Morgan 31-28. Yeah, there's no way. You have to go for it. And if you don't pick up the first down, so be it.
Yep.
You know, so be it,
You're done
because
either way.
at least
I mean, you're
you've
not
done
done if
what
you
you're
make it.
supposed to do.
Yeah, if you punt it, you're conceding defeat. There's no way
Well-
that they're not going to be able to run off this little amount of time.
Well, how many times has JP Hamer been thrown for a loss, but there was a missed block there. Ethan Johnson got through. Then you went for a home run on a play that was well defended. It's worked, but it was well defended. And that time, Isaac Linker, who's had an incredible game tonight, was sacked rolling to his left, but there's really nothing he could do there. Erie came with tremendous pressure.
That was that same play that they ran against Lutheran where they brought Ortega in motion this way and Hamer went out into the flat out there, but Erie had it snuffed out.
Oh, they had it scouted all right.
Yeah.
4th down and 22 to go for Fort Morgan at their own 20-yard line. They could use anything. A pass interference. Some mistake by Erie, unless Fort Morgan can pull it off. Trips to the right. Linker is back to throw. Pressure coming. He steps up, throws deep over the middle. It is incomplete. Short of the target, Moya at the 43-yard line. It bounced towards Moya.
Erie will take over.
Boy, that was so close to making it there on the fly, but Linker had to unleash it on the run. And Erie takes over on downs. And now Fort Morgan's best shot is just to prevent Erie from getting a first down.
Yep. 2:21 left in the quarter.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that quarter is the final one.
Yep.
And for Isaac Linker, that was his 16th pass attempt of the game. Completed just 5.
Defense can't let down here. They've got to rise up and hold them.
1st and 10 for Erie. And Noah Roper will be the quarterback in this situation.
Timeout.
Oh, God, boy, that's a mistake. How did Fort Morgan take a timeout on a change of possession? Oh, that's
Were they short a player?
No, they had their 11.
2:21. Oh, no, that's not good.
Yeah,
I mean, you just gave Erie an extra 35 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, that probably is the game right there. You can't take a timeout there.
And
You
I
can't
would
do it.
Yeah, and I've said this all season long. There's been times when I wish they had some sort of a hurry up offense. And man, when they got the ball back, granted they didn't make it in those 4 plays, but they wasted an awful lot of time that they could have had another minute and 15 seconds on that clock still if they would have just hurried up and ran.
But I have to believe the coaches know that that's a mistake. You
Oh,
cannot
yeah.
take a timeout
no,
when the clock
right.
is done. That's a huge mistake. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that's the reason that Fort
No.
Morgan is not going to be able to come back in this game, but you just gave
Oh, yeah.
Erie an extra.
100% agree with you there,
You
John.
can't do it. I mean, that's not even an opinion. It's basically a fact. You've given them a good 35 additional seconds. 1st and 10 for the 20. And here is Roper running to his left, back towards the middle, grab from behind around the ankles
Roper on the
for a
keeper.
gain of 2.
Top 2.
Tackle was made by Paxton there.
Gain of 2.
Ryan
Second down and
Paxton.
8.
2nd down and 8 to go. But again, they could have stopped the clock there,
Right.
and you'd be at about 2:10, 2:15. But now if Fort Morgan gets the ball back, instead of having maybe 25, 30, 35 seconds, maybe 40 seconds now, they're going to have it with inside of 20 seconds to go in the game.
Yep. Yeah, they've taken the quarterback out. They're just giving it right straight to Roper.
Yep, he is the quarterback. 2nd down and 8 to go for the Fort Morgan 18. Clock is running, 1:33 to go. Yeah, I don't think Morgan's going to get the ball back here. And now they're going to call a timeout. The play clock ran to 1.
Timeout.
So they call a timeout, and that's at 1:27.
Well, you
Yeah.
can't take them with them.
No,
Yeah.
I'm still going back to that Fort Morgan timeout. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You're right.
I get the joke that started 8 weeks ago in Parker. I'm sorry. I can't believe they call that timeout.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just that cannot be done. And again, I don't want to be overly critical, but if you need time, which right now is your enemy, you can't call that timeout.
The only excuse for calling that, and it's not an excuse, but the only excuse is if Fort Morgan had the wrong personnel or.
But you go with it.
But you have to go with it. Yeah, because that just threw away what little chance you had.
Right, exactly. I mean, they played a tremendous game. It's been a well-coached game. And again, that probably will not affect the outcome. It just affects the final stanza here. 2nd down and 8 to go for the 18. Roper will take it running right, and he's inside the 15. He drives to about the 11. It's a gain of 7. Now it's a 3rd and 1. I believe that might have gotten Roper over 100, over 200, excuse me, unofficially.
See, I don't know if they're probably gonna have to run a 4th down play if they don't make the 1st down, but they might not.
He's at 2:05.
Under a minute.
Yeah, it's at 55 seconds. Well, if you're Roper, if you just cross the 10-yard line, just fall, and because you've got the 1st down. I mean, to score doesn't make any sense. Roper will keep it himself. Oh, and nearly hitting the backfield. Now he tries to lunge for a 1st down, but the Mustangs stop him. And they stopped the clock maybe because they think they might have had a 1st down at the 10, but he looks like he's short.
Yeah. Yep. Fort Morgan catching a break here. Although
yeah, but they'll start the clock again. 40.5 seconds to go, and now they do start the clock again. And it's 4th down. That was carry number 33 for Roper. 4th down and about a yard. Fort Morgan's just got to sell out here.
Right.
You got to sell out, and if he gets free, he gets free. But they're going to let this clock roll all the way down, then call a timeout.
See, I think I would let it roll down and then let it go dead, and then just have Roper run around in the backfield for a little bit and burn off what little time's left.
They may not have to run it.
Yeah, they do have to run a play.
Not much.
Whoa. No, you might be right now. There we go. No, I think that's going to be it. It's going to run out the clock. 6/10 of a second to go, and Erie calls a timeout. Yep. Well, that makes sense. 40.6 seconds, and they started.
Yep.
Well, you're right. If you're Erie, you just take the snap. And that's it. With 6/10 of a second to go, they call a timeout, with Erie leading Fort Morgan 31-28.
And as you said, it would play out totally different if there was another 35 seconds on the clock.
Yep.
Because we threw away that timeout.
Well, but having said that, Fort Morgan had their opportunity.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And their worst stanza offensively tonight was on that final drive. Other than that, they moved the ball beautifully. So here, if you're Roper, I wouldn't even just, they're going to go into, right, because you snap it, it's going to take a second anyway. You can go into victory formation right now.
Yep.
But this might get Roper under 200 yards because he's at the 11, and Roper will back up. Yeah, he's going to lose yardage there.
Yep.
I don't think he cares.
Well, does that go as a sack or whatever? We'll see statistically. I'm going to have to recalculate that. It doesn't matter at this point. The Erie Tigers have come into Fort Morgan and defeated the Mustangs. A tremendous football game tonight as he took a knee back at the 21. Erie 31, Fort Morgan 28 on Morgan County's B106 and B106.com. Fort Morgan Mustangs post-game show is brought to you by Morgan Community College. They're here to make your dreams become a reality for both traditional and non-traditional students. Check them out at morgancc.edu. That is Morgan Community College. The Fort Morgan Mustangs played a valiant game tonight, a valiant effort, but they lose to the Erie Tigers in Fort Morgan 31-28. I'm John Beltran, back with Kevin Rohde and Brian Nickel, as the Mustangs did claim the early lead on a couple of occasions. A 64-yard pass in their first play from scrimmage after Erie held the football for about 4.5 to 5 minutes. But a 64-yarder from Isaac Linker to J.P. Hamer made it 7-0. But Erie came right back. They had a big 50-yard pass, and Noah Roper would convert from 1 yard out, tied the game at 7. Back came the Mustangs as Isaac Linker scored from 8 yards out along the right sideline, and they were up 14-7. But Erie would score twice in the second quarter. a 41-yard run by Noah Roper, and then he threw a 55-yard touchdown pass to Caleb Furman, making it 21-14. And one of the critical plays there in that second quarter was a muffed punt by Noah Roper that the Mustangs were unable to recover, and that allowed Erie to claim the lead. Then the Mustangs came back as they tied the game at 21 on a touchdown pass from Isaac Linker to Jacob Ortega, and it was a 14-yard touchdown pass on 4th and 9. It tied the game at 21, but once again, back came this Erie team as Noah Roper scored for the third time in the game. They were up 28-21. Then, after a partially blocked punt, it set up a 30-yard field goal from Julian Costine, and for the first time in the game, the Mustangs were down by double digits, down by 2 scores at 31-21, but they came right back, and they were able to score on Isaac Linker's 4-yard run. And actually, the Ortega catch, I believe, came in the third, and then, that was in the third at 21, and then the Linker touchdown from 4 yards out came in the fourth quarter, so let me get that order right, making it 31-28. Fort Morgan then stopped Erie, had possession of the football in their own territory after stopping Erie at around the 30-some-odd yard line, but then Fort Morgan went backwards, and Isaac Linker was sacked, 8-yard loss, and then on 4th and 23, an incomplete pass, and then Erie essentially ran out the clock. Fort Morgan only had one timeout and took it even before the first down play, which ended any chances of Fort Morgan even having a chance for a possession, let alone having some sort of miracle chance to win this game after they gave up the football with just over 2 minutes to go. So Erie wins 31-28. But Kevin Rohde, a heck of a game here by Fort Morgan tonight, because, you look at the opponents that Erie has had all season, and they have just pasted everybody, but Fort Morgan was not one of their 10 victims, at least on a one-sided game. This one was close the whole way.
Yeah, absolutely. My thoughts as we were finishing up the game and starting to get ready for the post-game show was, we were all caught up in wanting Fort Morgan to win. We were all, caught up on the little mistakes here and the big plays here and there. The reality was this was a great football game to come watch. And if you were here watching it, you enjoyed it. And if you're at home, hopefully you enjoyed our call of it. But what a great game, just back and forth, 2 great teams battling. And Erie was the better team tonight, but only by 3 points. And Fort Morgan had a heroic effort to hang with a 9-0 team and make them work for it.
Well, Brian, as you mentioned during your nickel package, and I talked about as well, I thought Fort Morgan had to come up with at least a turnover or 2, and unfortunately, they couldn't get any of that. They couldn't get a turnover tonight, and you talked about penalties, and there was a moment in there for the Mustangs, even though they were able to overcome it on one drive, there were some penalties in there that hurt Fort Morgan at a couple of times in this game.
Yeah, there was some holding penalties there that really hurt them. Like you said, they did overcome that one penalty, but they had some inopportune times with the penalties. Not many. I had them down, I think, for only 6 penalties, but they were big penalties. They were, that one was a 13-yard loss there on a holding penalty. But other than that, they played a great game. They kept the penalties low. They had no turnover. They had a chance to get that one, but didn't. And that could have been a big turning point there in the second quarter. Special teams, the special teams did a good job tonight. They kept the ball away from Roper on the kickoffs and also on the punts. So a nice job by the special teams, and Fort Morgan taking advantage of their possessions. They did, except they won there at the end. But they managed the ball pretty well tonight, just coming up a little bit short.
And I think, to be honest with you, and we've discussed this before, that we had our doubts about Fort Morgan being a potential threat in the playoffs. It's not because they didn't have the talent. It's because their schedule was so weak. Keep in mind, 35th on the strength of schedule. Erie was at number 18. But, Kevin, after tonight, I think those doubts have been flushed down the toilet.
I think Fort Morgan's doubts as to whether they belong in the playoffs have been flushed down the toilet, but unfortunately RPI doesn't really care because it had no effect on Centaurus, or not Centaurus, that was a team we played in the past that would never win games. It has no effect on, how many teams do we play this whole season that had a winning season? Thomas Jefferson and Erie, right? The rest of them were all like 5-5 was the best that any of them did. and we don't have any control over that. But unfortunately, that plays into whether we get into the playoffs. I think at 15, there's no way two teams jump us. Adding Erie to our opponents' win percentage and their opponents' win percentage, because they played some really tough teams. So that'll help us, the fact that they had a strong schedule. But unfortunately, we're probably going to be going down Lewis Palmer way or Pueblo East, and then we'll have to have a game like this again and battle it out on someone else's turf.
All right, let's look at the numbers here. First for the visiting Erie Tigers, Noah Roper. He did the damage tonight as he was expected to do, 34 carries unofficially for 195 yards. He scored the 3 touchdowns there, and he had the touchdown pass, so he accounted for all 4 touchdowns. And he was the workhorse, obviously. Gavin Mendoza had 5 carries in the game for 8 yards. Ian Vera 1 for 3. Dion Lucero had 3 carries for 19 yards, and Mendoza passing was 3 out of 7 for 48 yards. Had the 50-yarder, but then 2 that went for -1. Roper 1 pass for 55 yards, and that, again, was a touchdown to Caleb Furman. And that was obviously a big play because that gave Erie the lead that they they did relinquish because Fort Morgan came back to tie the game on one different occasion. Now for the Mustangs. J.P. Hamer did not get to 100 yards, but still had a credible game tonight, 18 carries for 89 yards. Brian, I'd consider that pretty good against an Erie team. That's obviously pretty stout on defense.
Yeah, they're a good defensive team, that's for sure. And to get 78 yards against them, he did a great job. Not that offensive line did a good job opening up some holes for him also.
And you look at Isaac Linker tonight, 11 carries unofficially for 78 yards. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, and Linker through the air was 5 of 16, 125 yards. And he had the 2 touchdowns, the 64-yarder to Hamer, the 14-yarder to Jacob Ortega, who had 3 receptions all on the same drive, 3 receptions for 47 yards. But once again, the Mustangs go down to defeat 31-28. All right, gentlemen, time for our Mustang Player of the Game, brought to you by Transwest. They believe that customers are number one. Check out their selection online or just stop by one of their dealerships in Fort Morgan or Sterling today. And Kevin, I know we gave it to Isaac Linker last week, but man, with the game he played, not only offensively but defensively, not that he does it by himself, but it's hard to find somebody else that really outdid Linker's performance.
Right, Linker both offensively and defensively set the tone, was a good senior leader, and he definitely deserves a player of the game this week.
All right, so Isaac Linker's our player of the game, and Brian Kevin's given his 2 cents about next week and the RPI and all that. You've done a lot of these games for years, and all I'm going to say is this, okay? And whoever Fort Morgan's going to, they don't want to face Fort Morgan next week.
No.
I mean, unless Fort Morgan misses the playoffs, which we don't think is going to happen, but they don't want to face Fort Morgan, and it almost seems like a joke that they would be a 14, 15, or 16 seed.
Right, that's for sure. That's where they're going to end up being. But, that gave me confidence in what I saw tonight here because I wasn't real sure how they were going to do against this number 1 team in the state. But they were equal up to them. They came up 3 yards short or 3 points short. But, they were every bit as good as Erie. And wherever they go next week, I've got total confidence in them going on the road and being able to come away with a win.
Outstanding job, as always, by our sound engineer and producer, Herrick Curtis. For Brian Nickel. And he's no longer Coffin Kevin Road. He didn't have one tonight. I am Curly, though. I'm John Beltran. The final score from Fort Morgan, the number 1 ranked team in 3A, the Erie Tigers hold off the feisty Fort Morgan Mustangs 31-28 on Morgan County's B106, on the TuneIn app, and on B106.com.